99.7 and get your staff looking their best.
New this week in Home Store and More. All bar stools are all half price. But better hurry, because when all our half price bar stools are gone, they're gone. Also, all mattress toppers are still all 33% off. And all painting and DIY accessories are still all half price. But when all the 33% off mattress toppers and all the half price painting and DIY accessories are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More. Visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
With TUI, there's more choice than you think. Beach days or a city break. Weekend in Rome? Booked. Fly from your local airport? Of course. Just a hotel? Got them too. Number of nights? Take your pick. Tailor your trip with more options and more choice. TUI. Live happy.
The Naughty Alarm Clock.
The Naughty Alarm Clock.
Highland Radio.
Oh, thanks for the crack this morning, and the tension is building. The 10 grand is sitting there for somebody to win. Well done once again to Martin Gillespie, Buncrana. The lines are open. You can get your tickets highlandradio.com for the 10 grand giveaway with Greg Hughes.
I wonder, did he stay over in Bundoran last night or drive down this morning? That would have been an early
He might be
start.
staying tonight now, I think, if you won 2.5 grand, wouldn't you? But nice. But nice we left before 9 o'clock, wouldn't it? It'd be great.
10 grand's going to be fantastic, though. Looking forward to that. It's lovely to be able to be part of something that makes an impact on people's lives. The 2.5 grand would. It would make a big difference to me. I don't know about you. You're like, no, I'd need a bit more. But
no,
it would.
I would take it. I
But
would take
10
it.
definitely would be. I could be
Oh,
looking
lovely.
at things like, I don't know where to go.
What would you do?
Upgrade the boat, maybe?
The boat?
Yeah.
You're a lucky duck. That's a fine boat you have. But anyway, let me tell you, there's 10 grand to give away.
For that, and it's not an expensive boat, by the
No,
way,
I
just
know.
in
You told me
case.
that. You told me that before. But 10 grand now.
Yeah.
So after 11 o'clock, so you have a couple hours to
Lines
get your
are up
tickets.
now. I'll
Lines
talk
are up.
about that later.
Great.
But yeah, you're right. Can we have a great weekend? Have you anything on?
No, what have I got on? I'm going to chill out with the boys. The polytunnel I'll have to finish out with
Right, okay.
Lee and that and stuff, and a few footy things around the house. I want to spend time with the boys and stuff. But
Bit of
can we have a
hash,
great?
aren't you?
Huh?
You're a bit of a hash.
I'm a bit of a hash. I don't know what's a hash. A bit of a cloister.
Don't have time.
I don't know.
But,
come here, enjoy the crack. Have a lovely time in London.
Yeah, hopefully now I'll wake up tomorrow enthused. I'm kind of.
But so you're kind of knackered after that wee walk.
It's not even that.
It's only a wee walk, 16k. Come on.
Miss the boys and stuff. But anyway, listen. It'll be
I
grand.
know
We'll have
you
fun.
will, of course.
All right, then,
good
listen,
luck.
Lee, thanks so much.
Have a good one.
indeed. All right, Lee, thanks so much. He's back with you bright and early, 6:30. He's like that all the time. You know, he doesn't put it on for the radio. He is literally 24/7 mad. Right, it is 9:01. Our Friday panel is going to be joining us very shortly. But let's get a news update, and it's over to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. SIPTU is urging Agriculture Minister Martin Hayden to intervene in the situation surrounding the proposed closure of the ISPCA's Rehabilitation Centre in Ballyar. The union had been involved in discussions with the association about the plans ahead of a forthcoming merger between the ISPCA and DSPCA. However, organiser Peter O'Brien says while the ISPCA has entered into talks with members regarding redundancies, they haven't provided the necessary financial information needed to assess the situation to either the workers or the Workers' Relations Commission. He says SIPTU is prepared to re-enter the WRC and is calling on the department to ensure that the ISPCA shows accountability and proper engagement. The Finance Minister insists there be no one-off payments in the forthcoming budget. Previous budgets included lump sum payments for child benefit as well as energy credits for all households. In March, wholesale electricity prices were still 52% higher than the same time last year, according to the CSO. However, Finance Minister Pascal Donoghue says the government is not in a position to award once-off payments this time.
The kind of payments that were in place over the last number of years, their scale and their nature, we cannot do again. And I accept this is a difficult argument to make because I know from many of your listeners at the moment the cost of living is still such a challenge. But the broader background to it is even though prices are going up, they're going up at a far slower pace than they were in recent years.
Bertie Ahern is ruling himself out of the presidential election. The former Taoiseach and Fianna Fáil leader has released a statement saying he won't be seeking the party's nomination and won't run as an independent candidate. Fianna Fáil's nominations closed today with the contest likely to be between MEP Billy Kelleher and the favourite Jim Gavin. Well, political correspondent Sean Defoe says Bertie Ahern's statement points a lot of fingers.
He was almost trying to gaslit the country, it felt like, in the statement that he pulled out to people, said that the economic crash wasn't his fault, that lies had been told about him through the Mahon Tribunal findings, and that really the reason that he wasn't running was down to Micheál Martin, and Micheál Martin being anti-him based seemingly on the findings of the Mahon Tribunal. So it was sort of a look around and blame everyone but himself.
Domestic abuse victims across Northern Ireland are calling for tougher sentences against those convicted of violence against women. Almost 30 people have been killed since 2020 in the north, one of the worst rates in Europe. Abigail Lyle's ex-partner, Jonathan Cresswell, was jailed for 6 months for attacking her. He was later accused of murdering show jumper Katie Simpson, taking his own life during the trial. Well, Ms. Lyle, a former Olympian herself, says that's something she had to deal with.
You definitely have survivor's guilt, and that was something that I really dealt with after Katie, because I thought, why am I here and she's not? All my violent interactions with Johnny, every time I felt like he could have killed me, every time.
Mostly dry today with a mix of cloud and hazy sunny spells. Top temperatures 15 to 18 degrees Celsius in light to moderate south to southwest breezes. Tonight it'll be largely dry under broken cloud. Later on expect some isolated showers with overnight lowest temperatures 11 to 15 degrees Celsius in a moderate southeast breeze. Tomorrow mostly cloudy with scattered showers becoming more persistent in the evening. Top temperatures 15 to 18 degrees Celsius with freshening southeast breezes. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 10 o'clock. Check all the day's news on highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
You know, the hardest part of going for a run is just thinking about it. How you feel when you get back. That makes it so worthwhile. The same goes for starting your investment journey. You're probably more than ready to set off. And a great way to get going is in your AIB mobile banking app. For access to personalised advice on investments that you can start today, on your terms, in your own time. AIB, for the life you're after. Allied Irish Banks plc is tied to AIB Life for life and pensions business. Allied Irish Banks plc is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Sale Assurance DAC trading as AIB Life is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Allied Irish Banks plc is a 50% holding in Sale Assurance DAC.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning. It is 5 minutes past 9 on this Friday. We're at the 5th of September 2025 and you're very welcome along to the 9 till Noon Show. It is Friday, so that means we have a Friday panel. We've got 3 great guests who are going to be joining us very, very shortly. I'll introduce them to you in a moment. But I want to invite you to get involved in the conversation. 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number. 086 60 25,000. Give us a call otherwise on 07491 25,000. If you want to email, it's comments@highlandradio.com. You can watch along and comment as you go as well too. We stream on YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland. So if you want to watch it on your smart TV or your Fire Stick, feel free to do so across our Facebook pages and of course on the X platform. Rightio, let's say good morning to regular contributor Paddy Rooney, Chair of Friends of Letterkenny University Hospital. Paddy, a very good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, guys. How are you?
It's great to have you with us on the show today. Paddy Rooney, as I mentioned, is Chair of Friends of Letterkenny University Hospital. James Ward is the news editor at the Irish Daily Mail. Good morning, James.
Morning, Greg.
How are you keeping?
Very well, thanks for having me.
Very good. No, it's great to have you on board as well. And independent councillor in the Lifford-Stranorling Municipal District, Councillor Martin Scanlon. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning to you, Greg, and morning to your listeners.
Good to have you on board. I want to start off with this one. The Ombudsman for Children has expressed extreme concern over the state's response to a child in North Dublin who went missing years ago and is now presumed dead. In a statement issued earlier today, Ombudsman Dr. Niall Muldoon, in fact it was yesterday, described the situation as shocking and questioned how a child known to Tusla, the state's child and family agency, could disappear despite having been in contact with multiple agencies. Now, the missing boy, now aged 7, was last in contact with Tusla in 2020. Since then, there's very little known about his whereabouts, prompting Gardaí to conduct an ongoing search in the Donabate area, which has entered its 3rd day. And it would appear, in a moment of correction, that the child being missing kind of came to the fore as they do that annual check on children's allowance entitlement, or whether you wish to receive that children's allowance or not. Paddy Rooney, I'll start with you if that's okay. Firstly, how can this be allowed to happen? And should we not now have a review of all cases where Tusla were in contact, particularly with young children, and those cases were signed off on, and clearly there isn't any routine follow-up? Because we now know of 2 missing children and we have stumbled upon the cases effectively. We haven't discovered them through, scrutiny and oversight, etc.
Yeah, that was the language that Niall Muldoon used on the prime time last night. He said that the Tusla actually, or the state actually, tripped across the disappearance of this young boy, and he used the word about potluck because there was a review done on the social welfare application or whatever. I mean, there's 850,000 children in the state, Greg, that are under 16 years of age, and we have an expectation, that's we now as a society, we have an expectation that the parents and the family unit are going to be able to look after them and rear them up to a situation or to a state where they're capable of independence. And most of the time that works okay with state support, but a lot of the time that it doesn't. There was an extraordinary thing. Kate Duggan, the CEO of Tusla, was there was a voiceover of an interview paid on RT News last night, and she said that Tusla had 105,000 interactions or calls for help or engagements in 2024. Now that's an extraordinary number by any sense of the imagination. I know she said that a lot of those, there were a lot of duplications in that. It wasn't actually 105,000 children, and a lot of them was looking for supports and so on. But it's a huge amount. Now, all cannot be well in Tusla because the signs are there all along for us. In the early part of this year, a High Court judge lambasted Tusla because he made reference to the fact that there was 600 High Court orders over a 2-year period that had not been actioned by Tusla, and these were all about child welfare cases. And just last month, then, a judge, Leonie Reynolds, in the High Court, used very caustic language again about Tusla, about dealing with one specific boy who had very severe behavioural problems. Family weren't able to support him, and he was sort of shooting the breeze out there. There was nobody looking after him. So things aren't well there because our attention has been brought to this because of this boy that's gone missing and about Kieran Dunyan in Drogheda, whose his case has not been resolved yet. But we've had a long litany, Greg, of cases in this country. I mean, back 20 years ago and over that, where we had a 7-year-old girl, which was a high-profile case. It made national news in Letterkenny, made national news about she died unexpectedly and her siblings were taken into care. And there was it turned out at the time that there was a whole load of flashing lights or warning signals through different engagements with the rest of the family, with state agencies, and individually they weren't picked up, but when they were put together, it was an awful scenario altogether. And we have, I suppose, Niall Muldoon was very, very critical about Bernard Gloucester and the Minister of Health yesterday, because his response to this now is that the National Review Panel is going to have a look at not alone this case, a review of this case, but also of the 38,000 cases that Tusla closed down during COVID. Now, to put this into perspective, 38,000 is about the attendance you would get at the Ulster final between Donegal and Armagh Clonus. That is a lot of cases. And Niall Muldoon was making the point is, who's actually going to carry out this work, Greg?
And I understand the complication, but we're not talking necessarily about how do we avoid this into the future. Obviously, if you wait a period of time, 38,000, massive number. But why aren't we, and I said this back when we were first covering the Kyron case, why aren't we doing follow-up health checks 6 months, every 6 months after a case is signed off on to make sure that the child is safe and well? If we were doing it as we went, obviously there's still a workload there, but the fact that we're not doing that is why we're left with a stadium full of children that we actually don't know formally yet that they're okay.
And I'm not sure, Greg, I wasn't clear from Niall Muldoon last night. Is it that the manpower isn't there to do it, or is it that the mechanism, because he made reference to the National Review Panel, and in the interview last night on TV, he specifically referred to 19 cases that were subject to the National Review Panel. And he made the point that since the National Review Panel did not have any statutory basis behind it, unfortunately and very disappointingly, a lot of the state agencies, and we're talking here about the medical profession, the nursing profession, schools, other people that are involved, state actors that are involved in this, either didn't engage with it at all or give partial engagement, with the result that when the reviews were over, there was piles of gaps all over the place, and the report in the end of the reviews ended up being practically worthless. So is it the lack of manpower, or is it the fact the mechanism that Tusla is using to review is the problem here?
James Ward, news editor at the Irish Daily Mail, you're taking all of this.
I think a reckoning is coming for Tusla, probably one that has been a long time in the making. So not alone will they review the 38,000 cases that were closed during that year in the pandemic. There will be a review of Tusla itself and all of the state agencies that would have had any contact with the family in this case. Tusla and the government have been at pains to say that there were no child protection concerns raised when the agency had dealt with this particular family, that it was more that they were seeking supports. Kate Duggan had said that there was the initial indications, at least, were that there were no child protection concerns, and that they had also said that their direct involvement didn't stop because of COVID, but because they deemed it the most appropriate step to take. Now, whether that stands up, well, only time will tell. But this is obviously not the first time that Tusla has found itself at the sort of unwanted centre of a national scandal. The Kieran Jernan case obviously shocked the nation and remains unsolved, and was nearly more egregious, I suppose, because that child had started school and was in touch with more agencies of the state and still managed to fall through the cracks. Now, there's been several quite high-profile court cases, as Patrick touched on there, regarding Tusla. There's also been a number of reviews by HICWA that have had quite damning findings, even in the last number of months, about Tusla's really ability to carry out its functions. What the agency has always pointed to is underfunding and understaffing. What I feel may happen in the not too distant future is that there will be maybe a winding down of Tusla to be replaced with a new agency, a sort of a rebranding, if you will. That's not going to tackle the systemic issues that are faced in our child protection.
It would be terrible, wouldn't it not, James, if a rebrand effectively was almost like a restart, and we found ourselves forgetting about all of the children that we need to follow up on, well, whilst we recognise that Tusla logo, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not any kind of a solution. All that it would really do maybe is break the association in people's minds that, when you hear of Tusla, you think of all these terrible cases, are really the first thing that comes to mind. And until we have a properly funded and properly staffed child protection service, we're going to see more cases where children are falling through the cracks.
One other thing, just before I bring Martin in, though, between, journalistic scoops, happenstance, we find out about these controversies, be it something in the context of this, something as unimportant as a bike shed, if you know what I mean, or spending here, there, or anywhere, or controversies and what have you. Like, we're stumbling across them. There's serious oversight issues here. I don't know who would have overall oversight of Tusla, but to ensure that they are doing what they should be doing. We need a system, do we not, where all elements of, health, public spending, whatever it might be, that there are proper oversights, that these things are discovered through mechanisms and not by accident or good journalism or whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. And I think part of the issue maybe is that politicians don't want to grab the nettle on Tusla. It's under the remit of the Department of Children, and that's Minister Norma Foley at the moment. You would think that the Department of Education should also have some oversight of it. But there's a level of scrutiny that's lacking there. There was a recent HICWA report that was quite critical of Tusla and its engagement with the Gardaí, that the Gardaí were flagging serious concerns about children as young as 1.5. That Tusla did not act upon, children that were coming forward, in suspected cases of sexual abuse that the Gardaí were not alerted to. There's a real problem with accountability there, and I think the government has to get on top of this, and quickly.
Yeah, Martin Scanlon, I want your comments on it generally as well, but even just to consider, we're talking about, and I think when most people are listening to this and thinking about it, saying, let's check up on these 38,000 children, let's use that cohort and make sure they're alive and well. But also I want to make sure that they aren't in abusive homes, that we have, people maybe who are mistreating or abusing these children in the full knowledge that their case has been signed off and Tusla won't darken their door again. It's not just children that might be missing or dead. We need to make sure that these kids are safe. There has to be some sort of a system to ensure that.
Well, I do believe that we do need to have a follow-up check, maybe every 6 months, 9 months, or to a year, following the closure of these cases. It's very disturbing that this case has come to light, and it wasn't because of a welfare of the child issue, but of a social welfare issue that brought it to light and brought it to the attention of the authorities. And I would, we're talking about the 38,000 cases since COVID. Like, I believe we should nearly go back to the start of when Tusla was set up in 2014 and carrying out a review of all cases that were closed down. It would ease a burden coming down the road of a full workload. So, and it's all down to funding. They're understaffed. So workload that's on the carers. They're not getting the right resources.
But I get exactly where you're coming from, and I'm seeing texts coming in along those lines as well. But I would hope there'd be someone very high up in Tusla that would say, we have these concerns. We're not able to follow up on these children. We're not able to do the work that we should be doing because we don't have the funds. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we should, and I know maybe there has been some flagging of that. People are well aware, but you need to be shouting from the rooftops if you don't have the funding to do your job and protect the children. Paddy, am I being unfair there?
Well, yeah, no, you're not being unfair at all, because I suppose the answers, I suppose, are in the straws here. If you look back on it, and the case that I referred to previously, and James alluded to it as well, about the High Court judge and the cases that weren't being followed up. The chief operating officer at the time was brought into court, and this is at the beginning of this year now. We're not going back 20 years or anything like that. And she had said that the chief operating officer, which is really worrying here, said that she did not inform the CEO of Tusla that these 600 cases had been not followed up. So the CEO of Tusla could not or would not, it wasn't in a position to tell the Minister of Children, and which was Norma Foley at the time, about all she didn't proclaim that she didn't know this. So not alone were senior management in Tusla not flagging up to the political or the administrative system that they didn't have the resources, that they were saying nothing on it at all. They weren't even talking about the stuff that very serious stuff that were being litigated on that they hadn't followed up. So it's very clearly, Greg, that they haven't been doing that. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Nobody has put their hands up yet to say that senior managers in Tusla have been going through the civil service and the political system saying, out, look, we're not doing this because we don't have the resources to do it. That hasn't come out yet. But there is evidence already, because it came out in the court earlier this year, that stuff hadn't been percolated, information hadn't been percolated up through the system to let the senior managers, I'm talking about the CEO and the political system, the minister involved, about what was going on.
All right. Thanks very much for that, Paddy. We'll have more from Paddy Rooney, James Ward and Councillor Martin Scanlon in a moment. Just as we head into that break, some of your comments. Tusla services in Donegal are falling down around them. As a foster parent, we see nobody. The social workers are only looking after emergency cases because there are so many. We've no support worker. The services are only interested in ticking boxes. The welfare of the child is nowhere on the page. It's so frustrating at the minute. Now, that is coming from a foster parent, and I think a comment that I certainly won't be ignoring going forward. Manpower is the issue, Greg. They can't follow up because they've too much to do already. This is why they need to create a more accessible way for people to enter this field without requiring a third level degree, at least for lack of a better term, the grunt work. and more coming in. Keep them coming in to us. Back with more from our guests after the break.
Do you sometimes struggle to hear? It could just be earwax and it's easily treated. Hidden Hearing right now are offering free earwax removal for everyone over 60, carried out by our qualified earwax technicians. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie. Hidden Hearing, your hearing is our expertise. T's and C's apply.
If you have a special occasion coming up, Watson Menswear stock a great selection of men's and boys' formal and casual wear. Top casual brands include Mishmash, French Connection, Tommy Bow and Penguin. Formal wear names include Rimazumo, Sixth Sense and White Label, with a special suit deal of a 3-piece suit, shirt, tie and shoes, all for only €299. Watson Menswear, open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and at watsonmenswear.com.
It's the 2025 World Chip Sizzle Freestyle Contest, and Charlie's Chips are in the lead again. They're coming up to the finishing pan, and Charlie's Chips are the 2025 World Champions. Sourced locally, hand-cut and freshly cooked. Served with mouth-watering burgers, fresh battered fish, or delicious chicken. Open Tuesday to Saturday 12 to 8, and every Friday for breakfast from 9. Take away or sit in. When the hunger hits, pull into Charlie's on Pierce Road, Letterkenny.
Attention students, TFI Local Link bus services available nationwide can connect you to a wide range of colleges all year round. Save up to 50% on cash fares when you use your TFI Young Adult or Student Leap Card. For route and timetable information, visit transportforireland.ie. We're Transport for Ireland. We're Transport for you.
Nuair a haon tú ar an mus ar an trein ag siúl nó ar do rothair, tá do chion féin á dhéanamh agat chun astaíochtaí iompar na hÉireann a laghadú. Mar lámhchúnta goit ar de thuras tá níos mó ná €1.6 billiún á inistú am líana in iompar poiblí na tíre. Le níos mó ná milliún caite in aghaidh an lé ar Hughes Valley agus Rother Valley. Go bé áit bhfuil do rial, tá tábhacht le do thuras. Té chuig gov.ie/your journey counts. Teachtarach do rialtas na hÉireann.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is?
The time now is 9:25. Right, former Taoiseach and Fianna Fáil leader Bertie Ahern has withdrawn from the running to be the next President of Ireland. In an online message to supporters, Mr Ahern outlined his reasons for stepping back. He also claimed current Taoiseach Micheál Martin is anti-me and spoke of the economy, and the Mahon Tribunal says he's pretty much been unfairly treated. So from a Fianna Fáil perspective, it's Gavin versus Callagher. We still don't really know what Sinn Féin's going to do. Fine Gael has had Humphreys in the bag, while independent Catherine Connolly is, of course, only really, I think, the official... Well, she's not really the only one on the ballot paper now, but certainly was the first and has been there for a while. And she's up in the county next Thursday, where she's going to get strongly endorsed by some. I wonder, would an independent councillor by the name of Martin Scanlon be amongst those... backing Catherine Connolly, if you nailed your colours to the mast yet, Martin, now that you don't have Bertie to vote for?
Not as of yet. No, I haven't. No, I was looking forward to Bertie. No, I haven't. I haven't backed anyone yet, or haven't decided who I'm going to go for. I think Bertie was out of the race anyway once the leadership wasn't going to back him. So it's either Jim or Billy now who's going to be their candidate, and maybe. With Jim's sporting background, he mightn't be seen too well outside of Dublin with some of the punishment that he passed down through the years to other counties. But my inbox has been full this last 2 or 3 weeks with potential candidates looking for nominations. I think so far I have 11 or 12.
Is there anyone in that? Is there anyone in that inbox that you would like sort of to see on the ballot paper? Like I'm not privy to it, and I don't know who's. I can imagine some of them, but 11's a lot. But is there anyone on that probably won't make the ballot paper, but you wouldn't mind seeing them on it?
To be honest, I can't see many of them making the ballot paper of any of them, and it's nothing to do with their personalities. It's just the system and how it's going to work. I suppose the only one with name recognition that I would have had would have been Peter Casey. And suppose with him running in the last 2 elections, that just gives him a bit of a highlight. But I can't see many independents getting on the ballot paper through the council route anyway. I suppose both in the Donegal County Council, you have them both. you have 10 Fianna Fáil, 10 Sinn Féin councillors each, and which leaves us up of a mixture of 17 independents. So if those parties are run candidates of their own, it's going to be very hard for their councillors to back an independent. I suppose Sinn Féin's probably sitting in no man's land yet. Nobody knows what they're going to do or who they're going to run. I think they're waiting for, as I heard someone say, waiting to see what way the wind blows. But whether it'll be Mary Lou or Pearse, I don't know. It's going to be a difficult one to decide now. If Pearse has any aspirations to lead the party, I can't see him running for the presidency. Even if he ran and didn't win, it would still harm his chances of party leader, and it'll leave Mary Lou safe for the next general election, I think, to lead the party again. That's my own opinion now. So now, one of the ones I would have probably liked to see get on the ballot paper would be Bob Geldof. I do think he would be a great man on the RSC.
Is he in your? He's not in your inbox though.
No, he wasn't in my inbox.
Okay.
No. But he would be a candidate that I would like to see, and he speaks some truth from the RS. Not to say that Michael Deed hasn't now, but he would be somebody I would like to see there.
All right, James, what do you make of it all? Obviously, it features extensively in your newspaper and all newspapers and on this show as well. I'm not sure if the public's fully sort of engaged in it yet, but actually I can't sample them enough in a number to determine that or not. But what do you think of the Bertie Ahern revelations today? He pulled out with both guns blazing. Micheál Martin, the party, some describing him as gaslighting the public over his involvement with the economy in the past. What's your assessment of it all?
Yeah, it was a bit of a bitter swipe at Micheál Martin. I think, saying that, we all sat around the cabinet table together and, we did the best we could for the economy. I think Mr. Ahern carries a lot more responsibility for the crash and what happened than Micheál Martin does. And I think I don't think that Micheál was in any mood to relitigate the Mahon Tribunal or the 2008 crash, however much Bertie might want to say, well, it was a worldwide recession. And, I'm very different. Fianna Fáil have gone through a long period of rehabilitation. And to go rake all over the coals again after all this time, I think would have been the wrong move for the party. Although there's still a significant section of Fianna Fáil that idolises Bertie, and he obviously retains a high opinion of himself as well.
But obviously not enough. He would have been doing some sort of feeling out, wouldn't you? Because I would say his ego was one of the things he very much wanted to protect as well. So he must have got some sense that with Billy Kelleher in there, who's pretty popular as well, and Jim Gavin, he wouldn't want to have finished third, even if he's got some level of support there. I think Micheál Martin seems to have, certainly with the big boys anyway, a great level of loyalty.
Absolutely, he does. Yeah, and there was maybe in the last 5 years or closer to the start of the last government, there was murmurs of unhappiness with Micheál's leadership. I think they've come through that. I think he has them all fully behind him now, especially having led them into government again this election. So I think Micheál has full control of the party at this point, and he will bow out when he decides to bow out. There won't be a heave. That's my opinion. I don't, as far as Bertie not wanting to come third, I think the direction of travel is that Jim Gavin looks to have it sewn up. Billy is very popular as well, but I think they feel that Gavin has more appeal. Martin, you mentioned that he might not be as popular outside of Dublin. Some say that the rule changes that he brought in this season that were so successful might play.
What do you think Sinn Féin are going to do, James?
I wouldn't rule out Mary Lou as of yet. It was something of a surprise that she.
Can I just throw something in there just for the sake of conversation? And I don't wish to offend anyone. Maybe it's a good time for her to do something like this, because there have been conversations that her leadership is a little stale at this point, that she's had a couple of cracks at it, and now she's maybe elevated the party into that 20% bracket with Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, but there's nothing there to kick on. this change, we're promising change. The public aren't buying that any longer. I'm not sure what other messages she might have. Maybe this is a timely thing to happen, you know, and Sinn Féin transition a little bit and try someone else leading the party to see if they can break away from the other big two, so to speak.
Yeah, I think you're dead on there, Greg. I think it provides her with a very nice off ramp. That if she's obviously a very popular leader still. As you say, there is a feeling that maybe the leadership is getting a bit stale. Having a new leader, whether that's Piers Doherty or whether that's Owen O'Brien, into the next election, I think would be a boost for the party and might finally push them over. Beyond the 20% and closer to power. The danger for Sinn Féin is if Mary Lou runs and loses.
Thanks.
She's a lame duck leader at that point, and she doesn't kind of get to bow out.
Well, see, that's
gracefully.
why I've kind of introduced the power transition element of it, because that makes the off ramp even more favourable if she doesn't try and return to the leadership with her tail between her legs. But that's a massive, big decision for the party to make in terms of, you know, not just this election, but future elections and the general direction of the party.
Yeah, it is a huge gamble because there's always the chance that she loses. So I think that's why they've sort of kept their powder dry up until now. They want to see who the other candidates are and kind of assess Mary Lou's chances against them. As it stands, I think that she would probably fancy herself against Heather Humphreys and against Catherine Connolly, and Jim Gavin would be maybe the trickiest of the three of those to see off. But I think were she to enter now, I think she would stand a very strong chance.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see her and Jim Gavin in a presidential debate, because, you know, you could be getting down to the nitty-gritties and how would he perform in that. Paddy, you've been holding your powder there. Come on.
Yeah, look, folks, there wasn't a chance in heaven that Bertie Ahern was going to be let anywhere near the contest, because the Irish Times run a podcast, Hugh Lenihan and Pat Leahy, and they had one a couple of weeks ago. And it was during the summer when things were fairly quiet, and it was about the rise to power of Brian Cowan and his term as Taoiseach and then his fall. But the first third of that podcast featured Bertie Ahern very strongly in it. And I can assure you, it didn't make good reading 15 or 20 years ago, and it doesn't make good reading now. And James has made a very good point there that Fianna Fáil have spent the last 15 years trying to rehabilitate themselves out of this. And there was a combination, I suppose, about the culture within the party. I mean, Pádraig Flynn, Tom Gilmartin, John Ellis, Ray Burke, Liam Lawler, a whole slew of Fianna Fáil councillors across the country. All of that stuff would come back with a bang. There isn't a hope that Micheál Martin was going to let that, you know, to dig that ground up again. Not a chance. He didn't have a hope. And the fact, I suppose, the findings in the Mahan Tribunal as well, they used nice flowery language about the fact that he told untruths. That's coded language for saying that he told lies under evidence, and he swore in that you have to swear in the Bible given evidence. So there wasn't a hope that he was going to get near that. You talked about candidates, and Martin made reference to Bob Geldof, and he's right. You know, there's two candidates I would love to see in the field. Now, I wouldn't vote for either of the two of them, by the way. I'm saying that straight up. One is Maria Steen and the other one is Bob Geldof. Could you imagine what they would do to his presidential debate on the TV? It's like, you know, when you drop an effervescent tablet into a glass of water, what happens, Greg? Because with the best will in the world towards Catherine Connolly and Heather Humphreys and Jim Gavin, could you picture that kind of that's going to be a very dull, boring debate. And I think that they would all be very polite and nice with each other. But entering these two other characters into it, I think that would be like throwing a hand grenade into the room, and the gloves would be off, and it would make it a very, very interesting thing indeed. And I think there would be things brought up and discussed during the debate that otherwise mightn't be if the two of them weren't in it. I think Sinn Féin are in an awful pickle now, because there are certain commentators out there like Sam McBride and Gillian Sheehan are saying that Sinn Féin don't know what to do here, that they're waiting because they don't know what to do.
Well,
they haven't backed Catherine Connolly so far, so they can't do it now.
Like Piers Doherty was on the show last week, Thursday last week, and he was quite. He didn't phrase it that they don't know what to do, but he was very honest. I think it came across as very honest. We literally have not decided which is another way of saying we don't know what to do. And I believed him. I really think
but
from
the
a
box
strategic
themselves
point
into
of
a corner.
yeah.
You know, you're right, Greg. But they have to, since they haven't backed Catherine Connolly to sort of cultivate a sort of a left alliance. They can't do it now because it's too late, right? So and they cannot run somebody. They cannot run nobody, and they have to run somebody very, very strong. And nobody's mentioned the name at all apart from Sam McBride. If Jerry Adams should throw him into the mix here, because if they put somebody into it, it's got to be a heavyweight.
But is
here.
that not the
they
same?
May or may not win it.
Yeah, but
they must
yeah, but
well in
it is for different reasons. Is Jerry Adams not the same as they've spent an awful lot of time of obviously respecting Jerry Adams and his contribution, but distancing themselves from that era of Sinn Féin the same way for different reasons that Fianna Fáil have distanced themselves from or wish to from Bertie Ahern.
They have, but are you familiar with the stuff that's doing the rounds in the media at the moment? There's a new press officer appointed for Sinn Féin in Belfast, a chap called Sam Baker. And if you read the stuff on social media and the print about what the direction that he wants to take Sinn Féin into, he wants to take them right back and to embrace the what happened in the Troubles for the last 30 years, or the 30 years from 1969 to 1994 or whatever it is. He wants them to go back again. So there doesn't seem to be 100% consensus within the party about the direction of travel at the moment. And I think that's what's wrong here for them. You know?
James, why do you think Jerry Adams' name is not even featuring in the conversation? Certainly, in public discourse, whether or not it is within Sinn Féin, I don't know.
Well, I suppose you go back to the previous election. They had Martin McGuinness, who did quite well. Obviously, wasn't going to come out on top, but polled respectably and was part, I suppose, of rehabilitating Sinn Féin. I think they've kind of done that now. I don't know that they want, although I appreciate what you're saying, Patrick, about the debate on whether to kind of return to, I don't want to say glorifying the Troubles, but a sense of nostalgia for that campaign. I don't know if that is the right direction for Sinn Féin to go in. More, especially the last 5 years, they're really trying to broaden their base into the sort of the middle classes, and some would argue they've kind of lost touch with their working class base as a result of that, and maybe that hurt them at the last election. So I think the party really wants to be looking forward rather than backwards. And Jerry, although he would certainly, I think, would do very well in sections of the country, I think it invites a debate that Sinn Féin have been trying to move past for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be of the same view, but nothing can be overcome, and you can only sort of keep flogging a certain horse for a certain amount of time before you get on to more general issues as well. That could be part of the decision. Why do you think they? A few people are saying they're having a laugh with Bob Geldof, but I like Paddy's suggestion. I just think it would be the hand grenade, so to speak, that the election campaign needs. Martin, will you?
I just
go ahead.
Sorry,
of course.
Greg,
No,
if you don't mind. I don't know what James and Martin would think of this, but just the comments that Bertie Ahern is after making there when he's withdrawn from the race, is that going to have the potential to have any implications for the vote under secret ballot by Fianna Fáil in the presidential? And isn't it next Tuesday that they're having their meeting?
So are you saying
If
the
there
party
are backbenchers,
they back Kelleher to give a two-fingered salute to Micheál Martin?
Absolutely. We've been here before, remember, because in 1997, Albert Reynolds walked into a selection convention and he expected to come out of it as a candidate. He wasn't. Either Pat Cox, was it for Fine Gael in 2011, walked in as the favourite and he came out and he wasn't. And somebody made reference, I think it was Mary Regan in The Independent yesterday said that a Fianna Fáil TD who did not wish to be named said it was not a slam dunk for Jim Gavin yet. So let's see. I mean, the mood music at the moment is that Jim Gavin is way ahead of Billy Kelleher. But if somebody wanted to give a two-finger salute or whatever to Micheál Martin, this is the way they can do it.
It will be interesting, Martin. It will tell us an awful lot. Some might even frame it as a little internal referendum on Micheál Martin's leadership. We heard reference to his leadership and the strength of that. But if he were to miss out here in his backing of Jim Gavin and have read the party wrong, it would be a hit on him, Martin.
It would be a very good way for the backbenchers to get back at him. And I suppose you have all the senior ministers now and junior ministers, I think, coming out to back Jim Gavin, and that shows a loyalty that's there from the hierarchy within the party. But as Paddy said there, that for this would be the backbenchers' opportunity, and it would. Well, I can't see it. It would dislodge him as leader, but it would leave him on shaky territory anyway, going forward. If he didn't get his way now, having backed Jim Gavin so heavily.
Okay. A caller says it's outrageous that a democratic right to run for president is not being given to people seeking nomination. It's undemocratic. County councillors are looking for more power. Once every 7 years, they have a right to nominate. Now the leaders are saying no because we've someone in the race. Donna was the first person to be nominated by Donegal County Council, and when Sean McAniff was asked why, as a Fianna Fáil man he was supporting her, he said, "I might not vote for her, but she has a democratic right to stand." There is something a little bit like it's like a closed shop, Martin. Would you like to see? I think there has to be some sort of a way of controlling, and we saw that even really with the previous European elections. But do you think it should be easier for a citizen of this country, Martin, to get onto the ballot paper?
Definitely should. No, I think the way of county councils, and maybe especially ones that are controlled by the parties, it's a very unfair way, and probably maybe the whip should be taken over from those party councillors and let them give them a free vote on it. Like, the more people you have on the ballot, the fairer it is for the electorate to make a decision. Now, there's some people, I'm sure you've heard in recent days, that are out canvassing looking for councillors to back them, and they'll not be getting my support. I'm really sure you know who I'm talking about. But for that, we need to have some checks and balances about who gets on the list. But taking the whip away from the councillors and giving them a free vote would be one way of doing it.
Okay. Right, back with more after this break. Will be about 4 minutes.
If you're aged 59 to 70, we will invite you for a free HSE bowel screening home test. Screening can help find signs of bowel cancer early, before any symptoms show, making it easier to treat.
Country Sundays at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny. This Sunday there's Mike Denver and his band dancing from 9 till 11, admission €20. Doors open from 8 and early dancing from 8:15 with Stephen Bennett, plus music afterwards in McGettigan's Bar. Coming attraction Sunday 14th, it's Robert Bazell. But this Sunday there's Mike Denver at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny.
Forests are more important than ever. Quilcha manages its forests sustainably to help combat climate change, to supply wood for building homes, to protect habitats for nature, and to provide beautiful places for people to enjoy. That's why Quilcha is producing a homegrown supply of Irish wood, supporting the construction of our homes and providing local jobs. And for every tree we harvest, 3 new ones are planted in its place, ensuring a sustainable cycle. Quilcha, forests for climate, nature, wood and people. For a greener future for all.
Us Irish like to think we know when something sounds too good to be true, like getting a quick and easy car insurance quote.
Ah, come off it.
Plus great value cover.
You're joking.
From a trusted provider.
Pull the other leg.
And most of the time, we're right. But not this time. See for yourself at onpostinsurance.ie. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. One Direct Ireland Limited trading as An Post Insurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. One Direct Ireland Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary of An Post. Best price online.
Hello, John Breslin here to let you know that this Friday the 5th, Around the Northwest will be live from McCabe's Pharmacy in Letterkenny, where I'll be talking about the W word. Well, 2 W words actually. Winter wellness. As McCabe's Pharmacy help families get prepped and prepared for the season ahead. There'll also be some giveaways on the day, so listen in or maybe pop in from 12 this Friday for Around the Northwest, live from McCabe's Pharmacy on Pierce Road, Letterkenny.
Don't delay when you get your bowel screening invitation. Call us today on 1800 45 45 55 or visit bowelscreen.ie. From the HSE.
The Highland Radio Customer Service Awards with McElhinney's Department Store are back. We're honouring the businesses that put customers first, and we want to hear from you. Whether it's your favourite shop, restaurant or service provider, now's the time to give them the recognition they deserve. But hurry, nominations close Monday 8th of September. Don't miss out. The award night takes place on Sunday 5th of October. Nominate now at highlandradio.com.
It's a pivotal weekend in the Donegal Senior Football Championship. Our featured game in round 4 this Sunday comes from the Donegal GA Centre. It's a top-of-the-table clash as McCool's take on Gweedore, throw-in at 4 p.m. We'll also have coverage from Dunlow's fixture against Four Masters, St Michael's trip to Neve Connell and Kilcar's hosting of Glen Swilly. You'll not miss a thing from the Donegal Senior Club Championship this weekend on Highland Sunday Sport.
Coverage of the Donegal Senior Football Championship is with Highland Motors Letterkenny and the all-new Renault Symbios. Affordable, luxury driving with high tech from only €249 per month.
As the days get shorter, the kids get back to school, and we start to make our homes a little cozier. We're all looking for smarter ways to save. Electric Ireland can help get you there. Switch to our best smart meter plan and save up to 30%. Visit electricireland.ie. EAB €1,199 based on 12-month home electric plus SST Saver electricity. Discounted unit rates with online billing, direct debit and VAT. Smart meter required. Subject to change. T's and C's apply.
The Rent-A-Room Relief Scheme is currently available, and you could earn up to €14,000 a year tax-free by renting rooms in your home to students. This scheme is open to everyone, and it won't affect your payments if you're in receipt of social welfare support. Find out more at gov.ie/Room for a Student, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhinney's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhinney's.com today.
So the weather forecast today, mostly dry with a mix of cloud and hazy sunny spells. Highest temperatures 15 to 18 degrees. Before we move on, James or Paddy, any of you got a particular view on access to the election? Are you happy enough with the current system, or would you like Martin and some of our listeners, it easier for people to get on to it?
Sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
That's my fault. I literally asked both of you the same question.
No, I suppose Martin said that he had contact from about 12 different candidates so far. So if it was opened up, it might be, I don't know, was Joanne Donnelly one of those, Martin? She's getting a lot of coverage on the Sunday Independent, on the Tonight Show on Virgin Media about it. So, I mean, it would be a bit silly if you ended up with a ballot paper with 35 names on it. I think you have to have some form of...
but it's taken the power away from the parties and the councils, though. I would love to see that if we could shift it. Like, yes, obviously have some sort of a system, but take that power away from parties and councils.
Oh, go ahead, James. Yeah, no, that's...
So, look, I agree, Patrick. Like, there has to be checks and balances, and nobody wants to see 35 people, standing on a podium, speaking over each other in debates or anything like that. The difficulty is that when you have kind of the majority of councils controlled by the government parties, and then Sinn Féin have their own plans, that, I think this might be one of the first elections where we see no candidates elected through the council route. And I think that there should be... candidates who are credible and who are worthy should be facilitated.
But how do you meet that bar, or how do you set that bar? That's the problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, the councils, I think the county councils will have prospective candidates come before them to make their case, and I think that's really how it has to be done.
Martin, I'm just going to ask a question I don't know the answer to. How would the council at this point now back someone to go onto the ballot paper? What's the process? Martin? All right, maybe James.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I believe that we're going to have a day set aside for candidates to come in and pitch their stall to us, and it'll be down to a vote then within the chamber.
The whole council.
How that's carried out.
Would the party councillors abstain, vote against? I wonder what the story might be there.
That'll probably come down from headquarters, I would say, what they'll be told to do.
Okay. Right, okay. Well,
that's my take on it.
Yeah, we shall see. Quite a bit of controversy. It's pretty local, I'm not going to lie, but we saw the Ballygrain Oak Tree. 1,200 people signed a petition to try and retain it. It went ahead anyway, the chopping down of this tree. It's part of the active travel plans for Letterkenny. It's 85 years old by some estimates, and I was chatting to a tree surgeon, said it had another 100 years in it. Just because you would have been involved in this in one form or other, Martin, what's your view on this oak tree being felled in the dark of night?
Well, suppose the fact that the tree was felled, in a way, it's part of, as you said, it was part of the actual travel plan. Now, I'm going to put on two hats here now. One of them was my councillor's hat, supposed to, and the way in the communication came from the council that there was a meeting of the Letterkenny MD a week previously, and it wasn't mentioned that this tree was going to be cut. So I would have to express my disappointment.
Well, let's go back a little bit now. Let's go back a little bit, Councillor. You would have voted on the active travel plans for Letterkenny. Did you vote in favour of them, or did you vote against them?
I voted in favour of it.
Well, you effectively chopped the tree down yourself then.
Well, it was. Well,
Look, I've seen other councillors. No, I know that. Not literally. Don't sue me. I've seen other councillors saying, oh, we shouldn't have cut this tree down. Councillors from outside Letterkenny, they voted for the active travel plan.
We did, but the councillors within Letterkenny also voted for it. There was a second motion for
some of it didn't. But my point, but you voted for these plans which involved the cutting down of this tree. So you can't come on now and start becoming a tree hugger and feeling all sorry for the tree. You voted to get rid of the tree.
No, I didn't. I'm not a tree hugger by any way. But what I am saying is that it was part of the plan. It was part of the consultation back in 2020, and there was no objections went in to the removal of this tree during that current process.
Yeah, but you can't then, in all honesty, sit there and say, "Oh, it's sad the tree was cut down." We're not going to buy that, Martin.
No, I'm not. It's not that the tree was cut down. It was the manner, and it wasn't spoken to the councillors about the tree, and the fact that it was done in the middle of the night. That's where I'm.
Did you not look at the plans? The plans, the cycleway and the pathway goes straight through the tree. You knew it was going to be cut down. 100% redress who voted for these plans. They knew it was going to be cut down.
There'll be other trees in the area too.
Now we're getting to it. You're not too pushed about the tree then. That's all right.
I didn't say it was to start with.
Okay, all right. But you were going to start talking about it shouldn't happen in the middle of the night. Should have been more consultation.
The issue of it being cut down in the dead of night. It's coming from a contractor's point of view myself. First thing you have to do is when you go out to carry out any job is do a risk assessment, carry out an identification of the risks involved. And probably one of those there would be traffic management.
Yeah.
And it would. I'm not speaking up for the contractor. If that's his own.
No, I understand why it was done.
It would be a traffic management.
All right, Paddy. I actually only have a couple of minutes. My apologies, Martin. Sorry, point well made. I'm only having a joke with you, kind of.
Well, I suppose. When we talk about local authorities being engaged in public consultation and so on and so forth, it actually doesn't confer a right on the people who actually engage with the process. You just give your views for positive or negative. And there was, what did you say there? 1,200 people signed a petition about the retention of the tree. I don't know where the cycle lane is going. I know where the tree is. I don't know where it's going to and coming from as somebody who used to be a cyclist but isn't. But I have to say one thing, whoever put the cycle lane in from the Tesco's roundabout out as far as the Polestar roundabout has a great sense of humour, and they're not a cyclist because you can't use it. And I never see any serious cyclist using it, nor do I see parents with small children. People are running in it all right, and they're walking in it. But it is what it is. Look, this is all about encouraging people to get out of their cars and to cycle and to walk and do it in an area where they're not competing with traffic. So I'm all in favour of that, to do it very, very safely. Look at that road from the mountaintop area out to Kilmacrannan, and there's a fantastic walkway and a cycleway either side. That's the way to do it, and I'm all in favour of that. I'm afraid you can't make an omelette without breaking an egg. I'm all in favour of. I am a tree hugger, by the way, Martin. But you can't make an omelette without breaking an egg. And if it works out in the end,
we shall see.
So the decision has been made to do it.
James, you might be glad that you've only got about 30 seconds on this one. I'm not quite sure if it's going to make the front page of the Daily Mail, but anyway, we'll see. You might find an angle.
Well, I do think you need measures to address the traffic in Letterkenny because it seems to get worse every time that I'm home. But yeah, I think you should be engaging with the community and not doing this in a kind of clandestine way overnight. It sends the wrong message, I think.
Yeah, I think that's actually been the real takeaway from this. It is about it feeling like that. Listen, James, it's been wonderful having you on our Friday panel. Thank you so very much, and great to see a local guy getting on so well. Take care of yourself, and we'll chat soon, I hope. Bye-bye. Martin Scanlon, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it, and I don't blame you for the tree being felled. I'm only messing you, all right? Take care of yourself. Paddy, you're a walker. 16 kilometres I did yesterday. For a non-walker, is that impressive? Or would you do that in your sleep?
That's about 8 or 9 miles, about 9 or 10 miles. Yeah, no, that's very, very impressive, yes.
All right, okay.
Keep it up.
All right, cheers, buddy. Thanks so very much indeed.
Thank
bye
you.
bye. All right, we'll be back with much more on the 9 till noon show, including giving one of you €10,000. Quite literally, one of you is going to win €10,000. I'll tell you more about that and everything else that's going on. Catching up on your comments and all after we take a break for the news and obituary notices.
Join me, David James, and my band this Friday night in the Melon Country Inn, Omagh. Doors open at 9 o'clock, so come along for a great night of dancing. This Friday in the Melon.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out shaneconleycars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Who's your local hero? Nominate someone who goes above and beyond. A coach, a teacher, a nurse, a volunteer, or anyone making a difference in your community. You could win a €100 Mabel gift voucher. Nominate now at your local Mabel store. Mabel Stores, celebrating the heroes among us.
The hilarious play Three Hail Marys this Friday and Saturday night on Grainon Theatre, Letterkenny. Book now on grainon.com or 07491 20777.
Keep out the cold, and ring Fleming for their full range of garage doors, agri doors, insulated doors, milking parlour doors. Fleming, 91 48 234.
Get more for less with lunchboxes that always pass the test. Because there's 3 for 2 across Lunchbox Essentials with Lidl Plus. That's right, we have soft fresh breads, tasty Irish cooked meats, and delicious Irish cheeses to please absolutely everyone. Simply scan, pay and save with Lidl Plus.
We all have questions on how to keep our kids safe online.
How do I get her to spend less time on her phone?
Where do I even start with all the apps she's on?
How do I talk to my students about bullying and social media?
There are things we can do to support children online. Visit webwise.ie for free advice for parents, teachers and young people.
From helpful guides to talking points on image sharing, gaming and more, visit webwise.ie, helping schools and families keep children safe online. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's Donna Marie Doherty with the news at 10 o'clock. SIPTU is urging Agriculture Minister Martin Hayden to intervene in the situation surrounding the proposed closure of the ISPCA's Rehabilitation Centre in Balliyard, County Donegal. The union has been involved in discussions with the association about its plans ahead of a forthcoming merger between the ISPCA and the DSPCA. However, organiser Peter O'Brien says while the ISPCA has entered into talks with members regarding redundancies, they haven't provided the financial information it needed to properly assess the situation, either the workers of the Workplace Relations Commission. Mr O'Brien says workers have rights under EU transfer of undertakings and legislation where the ownership of a company is transferred, but fears making them redundant will now negate that.
The members and the workers in Donegal are passionate about their jobs. They care deeply about the animals that are there, and they're left with their employment in uncertainty. We were in the WRC with the ISPCA a few weeks ago. We asked for information. Information was only received last week, and we want to make an argument that their jobs should be saved, and they have the right to be saved. By making them redundant now, negates the obligation for a transfer under this new merger, and that's just wrong.
A 2-vehicle collision has occurred on the Crescent Link Road in Derry this morning, and police are currently at the scene. They say drivers are advised to expect traffic delays as a result. The Finance Minister insists there will be no one-off payments in the budget. Previous budgets included lump sum payments for child benefit, as well as energy credits for all households. In March, wholesale electricity prices were still 52% higher than the same time last year, according to the CSO. Finance Minister Paschal Donohoe says the government is not in a position to award once-off payments.
The kind of payments that were in place over the last number of years, their scale and their nature, we cannot do again. And I accept this is a difficult argument to make, because I know from many of your listeners at the moment the cost of living is still such a challenge. But the broader background to it is, even though prices are going up, they're going up at a far slower pace than they were in recent years.
Domestic abuse victims across Northern Ireland are calling for tougher guidelines against those convicted of violence against women. Almost 30 people have been killed since 2020 in the north, one of the worst rates in Europe. Abigail Lyle's ex-partner Jonathan Cresswell was jailed for 6 months for attacking her. He was later accused of murdering showjumper Katie Simpson, taking his own life during the trial. Miss Lyle, a former Olympian, says it's something she's had to deal a lot with.
You definitely have survivor's guilt, and that was something that I really dealt with after Katie, because I thought, why am I here and she's not? All my violent interactions with Johnny, every time I felt like he could have killed me, every time.
Bertie Ahern won't be running for president as the Fianna Fáil candidate or an independent. The former Taoiseach has ruled himself out of the campaign after months of speculation. In a statement, he claims a new generation has been told lies about his character and career. Political correspondent Sean Defoe says many people in the party thought he was the best option until a few weeks ago.
There was a feeling from a lot of people I spoke to in Fianna Fáil, if they could put Bertie Ahern into the park without a contest, he actually would have been quite a good president. He's been on the Council of State for an awful long time. He knows the role inside out. His constitutional knowledge was never in doubt, but they didn't want to have to go through the campaign and address all of those things about Mahon, about the financial crash and the impact of it, about what that government was doing.
The Ombudsman for Children says the National Review panel is not fit for being carried out for review into the disappearance of a child in North Dublin. A search of open land near Donabate for the remains of the 7-year-old boy continues this morning. Questions are being raised about how the young boy could be missing for years without anyone in the authority knowing, after it was confirmed he was known to Tusla. Ombudsman for Children, Donegal native Dr Niall Muldoon, says a referral to the National Review panel isn't good enough.
It's now under the care of Tusla. It's been resourced by Tusla, and it has to send its reports to Tusla before it can publish. So they don't have the statutory power to be independent. They haven't got a statutory power to make it compulsory for people to engage with them and to send them evidence. So their reports are limited.
Looking now to weather, mostly dry with a mix of cloud and hazy sunny spells today, with highest temperatures of 15 to 18 degrees. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with headlines at 11 o'clock.
The obituary notices for this Friday morning, the 5th of September. The death has taken place of Bertha McLean, née Wiley, Glen Vista, Cullion Road, Letterkenny. Bertha's remains are reposing at her late residence, which is private, please, at the request of the deceased. Funeral service of Thanksgiving at Bertha's home tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, with interment afterwards to Gortley Cemetery, Letterkenny. Donations, if desired, to meningitis research, care of any family member. The death has occurred of Patricia McHugh, née Breslin, Summy, Portnew. Remains reposing at her home from 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock this evening, and again tomorrow from 12 noon until 10 p.m. Funeral arrangements to be confirmed later. The death has taken place of Tommy Barr, 2 Mount Carmel View, Strabane. Reposing at his home. Funeral from there tomorrow at 2:20 for Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Melmount at 3 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to the Alzheimer's Society, care of Quigley Funeral Directors. Family time, please, from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has occurred in his 102nd year of John McDire, Mass, Glenties. John's remains are reposing at his home. Removal from there tomorrow morning at 10:30, going to St Connell's Church, Glenties for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, with interment afterwards in the local cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Rosary tonight at 9. Family time, please, from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Day Centre, Glenties. The death has taken place of John Stack, formerly of St Columkill Village, Clonmany, Riverdale Park, Strabo, Buncrana and Blackrock, County Dublin. John will repose at his home in St Columkill Village, Clonmany, from 3 o'clock until 8 o'clock this evening. Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Cockhill, tomorrow morning at 11, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. The funeral Mass will be streamed online at churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Teresa McGarvey, Domville Road, Templeogue, County Dublin, formerly of Derryart, Creasla. Her remains will arrive at St Michael's Church, Creasla, this evening at 6 o'clock to repose overnight. Funeral Mass there tomorrow morning at 11, followed by burial in Doe Graveyard. The funeral Mass can be viewed on mcn.live. And the death has taken place of Dolly Higgins, 21 Schliefschnacht Close, Letterkenny. Dolly's remains will repose at his home today from 12 noon until 10 p.m, with Rosary at 9. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30, going to St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, which can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Interment afterwards in Conwell Cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers if desired to the Intensive Care Unit at Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio. Question: how can you save big time on back-to-school breakfast items? Answer: simple. Just pop into Aldi. There's a whole range of delicious and filling breakfast items to choose from. Like original Irish porridge oats for $1.19 and pure squeezy honey for just $1.69. Plus, our Gronias pancakes are just $1.19. Full marks, Aldi. Good food, good mood. From Aldi, while stocks last.
And you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. I just want to say one final thanks to everybody on Ironmoor Island who was so gracious and welcoming of us. We had a fantastic time out there. Also, a particular thanks to the Donegal Camino. They do amazing stuff all of the time, and we dip in and out, but it's really all about them and what they're doing, and they're raising a ton of money. Noreen looks after us really, really well. Peggy's amazing. She started it all. Noel Cunningham is wonderful. We know Noel. He's so committed to his county and to its people. It's really, really impressive, and he is... he's just the fire under it all as well. And we've been blown away by your generosity too, because thanks to you, and it is you, and we've had big donations and we've had little donations, but they all add up and they're all equally appreciated. We had about €200 in cash given to us on the island yesterday, which is absolutely lovely. But also too, we've raised over so far €4,000. We're heading towards €4,500, and that money is going directly to Cancer Care West Donegal to keep supporting the Letterkenny branch down there and to keep those facilities open. And it's only a drop in the wider ocean, but it's a really significant amount of money, and I really, really, really genuinely want to thank you for supporting us here on the 9 till noon show, and Highland Radio generally as well. Highland Radio, of course, have been incredibly supportive, and Caroline's worked tirelessly behind the scenes as she always did, and Shannon was out with me too on the island, and between us all anyway, hopefully we might get up past 5. I'll talk about that another time, but I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting us and what we did. Listen, we didn't climb Mount Everest. We walked 16 kilometres, but it's outside my comfort zone. I don't walk. I certainly don't walk that far, but it wasn't a challenge. It was an absolute treat and a pleasure. And the people that go on that Camino are lovely. They're from everywhere, international, down the country, from all over the place. And they do lots of Caminos, Spain, Italy, wherever they might. And they also include Donegal in their annual calendar. So again, thank you so very, very much. Now, €10,000 is going to be given away on this show, and you have about 50 minutes to be a part of it if you wish. If you've already bought your ticket, You've been in 4 draws so far. Maybe the 5th draw is the one where you get lucky. If you haven't got your ticket, you have a chance now, a small window of 50 minutes to get your name into the draw drum. We'll be doing the draw between 11 and 12. And what we have now, simple. We've got one chance, 10 grand. And it's up to you if you want to enter. But maybe yours is the ticket that will be bought and placed into the draw drum. It's physical. We're not doing a counter on a laptop where it stops on a number. You're able to watch the draw live here on Highland Radio on our social medias. So if you want to get your ticket, they're €15 each, or you can get 5 for 50. So they're a tenner each, effectively. So if you want to give us a call here at the radio station, we'll make sure your number is in the draw drum. And it'll all be done and dusted in about an hour and a half. But as I say, this is your last call, one of your last calls to enter the draw. 074 91 25,000. We can book you your tickets and give you your number over the telephone. Remember, you don't have to answer your phone. If your number comes out, you've won. That's the only action you need to take, is to buy the ticket. Now, we can help you out and go through it here. 074 91 25,000. That's not a problem. If you prefer, you can go onto our website, highlandradio.com. It's safe and it is secure, and you can buy your tickets there. Or, in fact, if you're in and around Letterkenny, you can get into us before 11. You can buy your tickets with cash. So, 10 grand is going to one lucky listener. Falcara's won already. Buncrana's won. And other places right around our beautiful region. So, maybe, where's the 10 grand going? Is it going to Glenties? Is it going to Donegal Town? Is it going to stay in Letterkenny? You could argue, because I'm sitting in Letterkenny. Maybe it's Rafo's turn. Or Carndonagh could be about to win. Who's to say? It could be anywhere. Do I hear Fawn saying it's me? I don't know where it's going to go. But it could be one of those places. And it could be anywhere where you're listening. So if you want to be in that one single draw now for 10 grand, buy your ticket right now. €15 a ticket, 5 for 50 if you want to group in with other people. You can put your name on the ticket. You can put 5 different names on the tickets. It's all up to you. Highlandradio.com, or call us right now. 074 91 25,000. And quite literally, to borrow a phrase, it could be you. Right. Excuse me. I'm coming down with something and I hope it doesn't catch on. Excuse me. Hi, Greg. Irish neutrality is being neutered by the few. We must get a referendum and let people decide. Putin has stated that not one EU NATO soldier will set foot in Ukraine. But guess what? Micheál Martin and Simon Harris have promised we will send troops to Ukraine under the guise of the 26 willing. Yeah, and I think really that commitment came before Putin saying effectively these people would be legitimate targets. Morning, Greg. I'm cycling downtown now to buy a 50-inch TV and do my weekly shopping. How am I going to get the TV on my bike? I don't have yet. Then there's the shopping. Might have to get a taxi to take my bike, TV and shopping home. Then I have to collect my 5-year-old from school later. And of course you can't do that on your bike. But you could cycle in around the place if you want to, and then take your car when you have to get that telly. I don't know. Pierce Doherty might run. I just don't think that, says a listener. I just don't think that's a great idea. But anyway, yeah. Bertie Hearn doesn't know where he got €20,000. How could he run for presidency? That's coming in from Andy. Well, Andy, Bertie's out. Hi, just a thought. Daniel O'Donnell is taking a break from music. He would make a great president. Daniel O'Donnell does take breaks from music, but then you see him singing a lot. I'm not sure. He's so committed to it, and I think he enjoys it too. I think he'll be taking a bit more space for him, but I don't think being the president, if you're looking for a break, would be the right job. There's quite a lot going on. Let me see. Has anyone noticed the speed cameras on Lurgy Brack Hill in Letterkenny? Why were the public not informed of them before they were operational? Well, they are traffic and pedestrian cameras, by the way, and not speed cameras. Now, that is a dangerous stretch of road, so be careful on it, but they're not actually speed cameras. They are traffic and pedestrian cameras for monitoring that. Nobody in Tusla is going to rock the boat, says the listener, from within, but there has to be higher-ups that can shout from the rooftops. Tusla did a revamp of the services, which on paper, by paper chasers, looks okay, but the reality is very different, and this is what happens when paper people make decisions. The identity of the child should be released. Who are they protecting this time? Name and shame only. They were collecting children's allowance for the child. They may never have been found out. Well, we don't know. They could have just received a letter to say, is the situation still the same? Name and shame, there are nuances. It is interesting that they've opted to not name the family or the child, because you would imagine they might need more information as it relates to the child last being seen. I imagine the parents are engaging with the authorities or whomever. Maybe it's a single parent. I think one person is out of the country. There must be a reason. I don't know the reason why you want them to be named and shamed. Maybe there's no shame to be attributed either. You know, do we want to get to a point whereby we just presume and sticking people's face on the internet is the solution to everything? I'm not sure. Good morning, Greg. Tusla has taken actions that take children from families who weren't a danger to children and put families unduly through the court system. They haven't been offered to give support to families that need it. Instead, they decided to take from the families. Another, since the formation of the state, the Irish establishment has had a shocking record of taking care of vulnerable children, even up to the 1990s. Both government and church policy towards disadvantaged children from the poorer class was to export them or incarcerate them in institutions. The important point was to ignore their existence, as they were an embarrassment to their attempts to create an image to the world of an idyllic Ireland rather than the seedy country that it was. Thank you. What about Michael McDowell for the presidency? I don't know if he wanted to seek the nomination. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are a toxic party. There really is no opposition in this county. Take Sinn Féin. They talk, but no walk. They make big mistakes and they're not even in government. Country going down the pan, crisis after crisis in this county. Party blaming party. Then in government, no accountability. The country's in a right mess. It can't get any worse, but it probably will. Now that Bertie Ahern has withdrawn from the race, I'm seriously contemplating throwing my hat into the ring. I believe I have the necessary attributes. I can count to 20 without removing my shoes and socks. Impressive. I've made an appointment to have my teeth whitened, and I'm an avid listener of the 9 till noon show, so have an unbiased view of the nation's problems. Any wealthy backers out there willing to fund my campaign, Greg? Okay, well, I like the fact that you listen to the show. It's nice to have nice white teeth. And your counting abilities are borderline presidential. I don't know. Let's see. All right, it is Friday, which means once a month we hook up with Seamus Gunn. And he answers your legal questions. And we've had quite a few in already. Still time if you have a legal question for Seamus Gunn. We'll be back with Seamus and much more on the show after we take a break. For the bingo numbers, good luck if you are playing today.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Friday, the 5th of September. You're playing on the yellow sheet for the daily prize of €800. The reference number is S20. It's game number 36. The numbers are 24, 18, 49, 13, 15, 84, 38, 48, 7, and finally 63. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
McGowan Hearing, your audiologist experts, now in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonagh. Book your free hearing aid consultation in our clinic or your home across the northwest and beyond with Dara McGowan on 07191 00208.
At Foy's in Ballybuffet and Letterkenny, we're much more than a furniture store. We're your style destination. From elegant sofas to eye-catching lighting, luxurious beds to statement wall art, we offer the largest range of quality furniture and home decor in the Northwest. Every piece is selected for quality, comfort and timeless design. Check out our socials for exclusive offers and inspiration. Foy's, where great interiors begin.
The Donegal Cheviot and Cheviot Cross Breeders Group will hold their annual sale of Cheviot's Cheviot Mules, Suffolk Cross Cheviots and Cheviot Cross Blackface Hogget Ewes and Ewe Lambs this Friday the 5th at Stranraer Mart. The sale is at 6 with viewing from 3 p.m. That's the Donegal Cheviot Cross Breeders Group sale this Friday at Stranraer Mart. This ad is kindly sponsored by Lynch Brothers Northwest Plant Hire Limited, Lynchford, Buncrana.
Now, a very good morning to Seamus Gunn of McLaughlin Gunn and Company, Ramelton and Letterkenny. How are you getting on, Seamus? Great to see you. You're muted, Seamus. I know you're out of the run of things because, you know, you
It's
tend
been
not
a
to
couple-
join
it's
us in
been a couple
August.
of- It's been a couple of months, so it has, yeah, since the senior. I think you had one of your colleagues sitting in the last.
I know. I said that to Caroline. I says it seems like ages. All right,
Yes,
listen. Before we get to some legal questions, you've taken an interest in this flotilla that is looking to go to Gaza and break the Israeli. What do you call it? Yeah. So, come here. What do you think of it?
Well, I think that it is worth having a discussion about it. It is worth highlighting it. It's also very worthwhile supporting it. It was in the news at the beginning of the week. It's interesting that it seems to have gone off the main news as the week has gone on and not being reported on. It set off on Sunday last. It's called the Sumid Flotilla. And in Arabic, I understand that means perseverance. So it's very well named. But the thinking behind it, I think, is really what drew me into it. And it's that it's the coming together of various representatives from various different countries and nationalities. And it's to express their discontentment by the manner in which this crisis that's happening in full world view is being handled or not handled or mishandled by the governments of the world. So it's completely apolitical in that respect. It's a humanitarian drive, and it's obviously trying to garner support to get some energy from the international governments to come together to try to do something to move on the terrible situation that is developing and continues to develop daily in the world's full view. And I think we've all got a duty to actually support it and to shine a torch on it, because it's Liam Cunningham, I think, is the actor, is one of the ones that was leading it at the beginning of the week. And I think his expression it sums it all up. It's a shameful period in the history of the world. And we are bearing witness to that. And if you're in the wrong side of history, you'll be judged accordingly.
Is it possible, you talked about it falling off the public radar, in that, you know, I know you mentioned that actor, and I know there's other representatives on it, but the fact that the face of it is Deputy Paul Murphy, from our perspective, and Greta Thunberg has transitioned from a climate action person into this arena, and obviously brings a spotlight, and I'm not critical of her in relation to that. It's just, I don't think that those two people, for an example, necessarily are the faces that the majority of people sort of want to back on something like this. I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but I mean...
No, of course, and I don't disagree with that, but somebody has to lead it, and somebody has to set an example. So in relation to Greta Thunberg, of course, she is an authority on the crisis that you've mentioned, but she is a world figure, and therefore she has some credibility with regard to even humanitarian issues. The TD that you mentioned, well, that's maybe the face of Ireland, and there's an actor. But how else do you succeed in trying to influence governments if you don't have heads of state on it, which you don't have? So it's an apolitical move. But what's interesting is it's the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to say, and the message is very clear, listen, this is happening. Nobody's doing anything about it.
Yep.
We are in a situation where there's now a famine, a world famine, right in our view. There's 500,000 people, there's 1 million people going to be displaced from Gaza City in the coming weeks. 40% of Gaza City is already been overcome by Israelis. Benjamin Netanyahu there's a warrant out for his arrest from the Hague International Criminal Court. And yet he's been seen with President Trump, etc., and getting this support.
But
what I'm just to finish, what I'm trying to say is that there seems to be a pulling away from this. There's no unity in Europe. The Europeans, the Spanish have come out, yes, in support, saying more has to be done. But there's all these sound bites, but there's absolutely no action whatsoever. And meanwhile, if you see the pictures, they're horrific. They're getting less and less because, unfortunately, the wonderful journalists that have been out there have been killed, executed, and they're not able to get shots out. We're depending on Reuters to give us some feedback on a daily basis. And we're seeing children just starving and prepared to stay where they are rather than to move somewhere else and starve. And they've been already displaced so many times. So what really, regardless of who it is, the media have a responsibility to report this, to try to shine the light on
one
what
of the things that I've tried to sort of, I get you. One of the things though I've tried to reconcile in my mind as well is I am, what is happening is despicable. It's absolutely horrendous, and it shouldn't be able to happen. And I'm embarrassed to be part of the Western world that is allowing it to happen. But when I see people very active in this space, I also want to hear them talking about even maybe let's do a flotilla over land to Sudan or to Yemen. And I find it very hard to get past that because I'm equally concerned with what's happening in these various places, okay? I'm not a campaigner.
Of course.
But it's almost as if, because you can have a go at Trump, quite rightly, because Netanyahu is that public face of the human enforced famine, the annihilation of an entire people. It is horrendous. But I hope people aren't latching onto that and not other world crises like what's happening in Sudan. Beautiful little children being starved to death as well. Women, children being beheaded, mutilated.
Yes.
Why? And it doesn't make me question them, but is it? I can't help but think that the PR is in Gaza and not in these other countries that actually need to get onto the front pages. So I'm not questioning their motives as such, but I'm being completely honest, and I always try to. I'm sitting in this seat, and it's something I contemplate at home and I struggle with. Why, for these people, this awful situation, why are those lives of any greater value? Let's get over to Sudan and really bring a spotlight on there as well. Let's protect those children equally. And I just wonder if, because there's not a boogeyman or there's not a Trump, or maybe there's not the headlines, that those beautiful little kids are being left behind.
Yeah, I was actually, as we were going to develop the conversation, I was going to mention these other parts of the world that you've touched on. You can also put Syria into that bracket as well.
100%.
And of course, Ukraine, which but is more sort of, let's say, the spotlight on it, if you want to call it that, and more Western orientated, if you like. These areas, absolutely, there's no difference. There's millions. When you reference Sudan, Sudan is the biggest humanitarian crisis in the world at present. Like we are, you lose. Of course, we can't comprehend the type of numbers that are out there in similar situations. Why is that happening? Well, obviously, the Western powers are the powers that have the authority and the money and the interest in a certain part of the world where there is a lot of that potential, because Israel aligned with the USA. The arms that are being sold there, it's big business. Like it or not, that's what it is. But in relation to going back to the point that we started at, we have to start somewhere, Greg. If we start on with a flotilla going heading from Barcelona to Gaza, and saying to the governments of the world, well, look you have to look at this now and then progress it. No, we won't be all things to all people at the one time, but in bringing it out and discussing it and bringing in Sudan, Syria, and of course Ukraine, I think that what there is and what is happening, and I despair completely about it, I have to say, but what I think is happening is I think there is an air of appeasement out there in relation to big powers who have become, in my eyes, bullies, and they have to be kept right no matter what. Europe is dependent on Trump, like it or not, in relation to defence. We're terribly exposed in defence. So they don't really want to turn the word in his mouth to look at what he's done with sanctions, etc., and they have to suck that up as well. So there's that conflict there that they need Trump for the balance of defence. So therefore Trump and Putin have it their own way. They appease Putin back in whatever it was, 1938 or 39, appeasement didn't work. You'll remember. You remember what happened in the Second World War.
I just want to say, I get
Putin
where
and
you're
the
coming
powers
from.
get more power, and it distracts away from these atrocities.
But I just want to make it very, very clear that I am horrified by what's happening in Gaza, and we all need that to stop. But you will have major political people that are calling it what it is, a genocide. You have very powerful politicians in America that are calling it a genocide. Every country has parties and people that are saying what it is, that it's horrendous. We also have the majority of the populations, I think, realize what is going on. It's horrendous. This flotilla, though, which they will all have plenty of food and security, will sail down as far as it can towards Israel, and then the warships will come out, or the missiles will be turned on them, and then they will sail back. Okay, so in terms of getting this into public consciousness, that is done, and we need to keep it there. But these same people, in my view, could actually go to Sudan, okay, or Syria, and actually maybe start a global conversation about ending what's happening there.
Yeah.
They cannot and will not in any way progress the situation in Gaza. But that's where the world's cameras are pointed, right? And quite rightly so. So I struggle sometimes. I just wonder, is it that maybe it's not as safe to go to Sudan? But they could actually start a global conversation about the children of Sudan or Syria. That conversation is happening. We have got the UN calling what's happening in Gaza a genocide. And yet that's where the flotilla is going. Or the NATO, sorry, it was the UN. But go ahead, Chambers. And I don't...
No, I fully... Look, at those points are all very, very fair. They're balanced and they're properly made. But I do think that you're giving it an air of hopelessness, the Sumid flotilla. It is not... It is to set it out there and to get the attention that it does merit. But
the last time that flotilla went out there, Seamus, there's a picture going. Smaller. There's a picture going where an Israeli soldier handed Greta Thunberg a sandwich and a packet of crisps.
I seen that. Yeah, I seen that.
So
the girl has to, but let's be fair. She has to eat. I mean, I know. Why do you take offence to that?
Because you put your hands up and you decline it.
I think that's taken out of context.
Okay, sorry, I apologise.
And it's caught on camera. I think that obviously she's there trying to do her best in to highlight this situation. There are.
I have no problem with her, by the way. I have no problem with her.
There are other situations in the world, and you've referenced them, and they all equally deserve it. But the central message, though, and this is what I don't want to be lost, is the frustration of people like maybe even you, but certainly me, in relation to the powers that be in the world.
100%.
They've all got their own agendas here working, and if millions are dying as a result, that's unfortunately just consequential. And I cannot abide by that.
No, neither can I. No, neither can I.
So that's really the point that I'm trying to highlight here. That, and this is right across the board. And you're right when you say yes, they've called it out as a genocide. But I'm also right by saying the majority in Europe have not called it out as genocide 100%. In the EU.
Yep. No, I agree.
So therefore the balance. If you really check it out and say yes, there are people saying should we do more, but there's not enough of them. There's no unanimity. And then we reference the UN and NATO, etc. So that's all. The authority of those are all being chipped away, being ebbed away by people who are getting away with atrocities, like the invasion into Ukraine, Putin, and having a chat in Alaska with Trump, and coming in out of the cold over then with Xi Jinping at the beginning of the week, the military. And then you have the North Korean leader there as well, and these axes of powers. These are all gaining momentum, while people are, as you say, are dying in their millions, and they're not being looked about or being referenced. And if it does nothing else but only highlight that this is what governments should be really doing, if they do care for the people that they're supposed to be caring for, but. That's maybe a conversation that you say will have to take place. It might have to take place in Syria or somewhere else. But unfortunately, in the meantime, we have these are the powers, and these are the powers that dictate even where the media goes and how it is reported.
And that's why I just, and listen, I I don't disagree with anything you've said, and I hope you don't feel I was diluting your very important point in broadening it out. It's just I've sat in the studio opposite Sudanese people, and they themselves are saying, you know, what's wrong with us? Why can't... And I just think if this is about getting messages out there, because we know fundamentally it won't make any difference, I just wonder why we choose one group of people over another. But Seamus, listen, I've nothing but respect.
I do think it is worth having the conversation, Greg, and it is worth ventilating it and bringing it into the public domain and into the public's conscious, because it is something that is in our own world. And we're sharing this planet, supposedly, and some are sharing it like in their own interests, as against the interest of the parties and the people that they're supposed to be protecting.
Okay, listen, we've got a 4-minute break. Take a cup of coffee if you need one, Seamus. We're going to come back with some legal questions. Stay right where you are.
If you're aged 59 to 70, we will invite you for a free HSE bowel screening home test. Screening can help find signs of bowel cancer early, before any symptoms show, making it easier to treat.
This week only, get a free upgrade to Loganair's Fly Flex fare. Enjoy a larger 23-kilo hold luggage allowance, increased change flexibility, and collect more Avios, all at no extra cost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. Book by 9th July, travel from 1st August. Booking changes may incur additional fees. Book today at loganair.co.uk.
Who's watching your home while you're asleep, at work, or on holiday? With the Sheridan Security Alarm System, you can be assured of round-the-clock monitoring. Our central monitoring station is on duty 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, monitoring homes and businesses in the northwest for intruder, fire, panic, and medical signals, giving you the peace of mind you deserve. Sheridan Security Systems, Bonagee, Letterkenny, protecting what you value most. Call us for a free quotation on 9126. 6025.
If you know the beauty and skincare product that suits you best, you'll find them at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. From moisturisers, cleansers and toners to day creams and night creams, McGee's have the top brands you know and love, like Lancôme, Clarins and La Roche-Posay. Also Elizabeth Arden, Vichy, Nukes and many more. All at McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, and online at mcgees.ie, where the best costs less.
Here, would you look at Eco Enda? He's only after going and getting himself one of the new Skoda EVs.
First he went vegan, then he got solar panels, now this.
Yeah, sure, he'd buy anything as long as he can get a grant for it.
Must be from that county beside Monaghan.
The new fully electric Skoda range. The kind of cars that get the neighbours talking. But only if you're quick. Check availability at skoda.ie. Skoda, let's explore.
Skoda. Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clar Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 9721396.
Don't delay when you get your bowel screening invitation. Call us today on 1-800 45 45 55 or visit bowelscreen.ie. From the HSE.
At iMotors, we've grown with you, earning your trust mile after mile. As your authorised Nissan dealer, we share a fearless drive for the road ahead, built on innovation, reliability and care. Whether you're on the main road or a back road in Donegal, test drive a Nissan built for your journey. Visit us in Letterkenny, Malin Village or at imotors.ie.
iMotors, fearless generation.
Discover a new way to cook outdoors with the Ninja Woodfire Electric Barbecue Grill, now at Ben Sweeney Euronics. It's a grill, smoker and air fryer all in one, with 7 cooking functions, no charcoal, gas or flames needed. Woodfire technology delivers real smoky flavour anywhere, in the garden, patio or in the campsite. Weather resistant and ready year round. Get the Ninja Woodfire Electric Barbecue Grill at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Letterkenny and Dunlow.
Get ready for the Donegal League at Brian McCormick Sports. BMC Teamwear, fully personalised kits with matching training packs. Call in to our Teamwear room or send us your wish list to teamwear@bmcsports.ie. Brian McCormick Sports, sponsor of Donegal League Premier Division.
You've got experience. Now it's time to build on it. With Skills to Advance, get the tools to grow with flexible, tailor-made courses in areas like AI, digital skills, sustainability, technology, leadership and management. They're short, practical and low cost. So whether you're looking to step up, switch paths or stay sharp, this is your next move. Contact your local education and training board or visit skills2advance.ie. Skills to Advance. Boost skills, boost business. Supported by Solus and the Government of Ireland.
All around Ireland, ordinary people are doing amazing things every single day with Return. They're turning empty bottles and cans into everything from vaccines to volunteer rescue boats. Like Buncrana Hearts Football Club, who are raising money through Return for sports equipment. Now, thanks to empty bottles and cans, their pitch is full. Join the thousands of initiatives using Return for Good at return.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenney's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
So today's going to be the best one of the weekend if you count it as such. Friday, mostly dry with a mix of cloud and hazy sunny spells. Temperatures 15 to 18 degrees, mildest further east, all in just light to moderate south to southwest breezes. We're in the conversation with Seamus Gunn, and we had a really interesting conversation. Some really great points made by Seamus as it relates to the flotilla on its way to Gaza. But we also are going to touch now on some of your legal questions, Seamus, and we'll start with this if that's okay. A festival in my area, they have a car treasure hunt, and every year locals have to put up with people trespassing on their land looking for clues. So my question is, if someone trips and hurts themselves on my property undergoing or whilst taking part in this treasure hunt, who is ultimately responsible?
Yeah, it's a good question because it's a popular pursuit right across the country in general during the summer months. And I can understand the caller being slightly apprehensive in relation to it. I would say this, since in or around, I think, 2023, maybe subject to correction on that, there's been a change in the law with regard to trespass and the duty that's owed to trespassers. So it's worth referencing that because the caller is concerned that obviously I've partaken in treasure hunts in the past and enjoyed them immensely. And you're looking for clues, so you could be straying onto someone's property. Yes, that's potentially true. The caller's concerned if something happens or you trip and fall and get hurt. Well, the first port of call I would say would be, first of all, you have to establish some negligence, but these obviously festivals have their own public liability insurance, etc., and they wouldn't exist probably without it. So they would have cover for such eventualities. The caller's concern is, though, where do they stand, or do they stand in the line of fire in relation to it if something happens while someone is in looking for a clue on their side of the fence, so to speak. My view is that up to 2022 or 23, at that point, the law was you had to take all reasonable care not to injure somebody who's come on your property, even uninvited. That standard they have raised the bar in that to the degree that the duty of care now is not to intentionally or recklessly injure somebody. So that's more difficult, that the individual will have to say, well, they intentionally or recklessly done this, or it was reckless that they left that like that. So that's a higher standard of proof, and it's more difficult to get over. So I think they should bear that in mind. But like in all these situations, Greg, and in life, there has to be a bit of goodwill and give and take. Like festivals are being run for the benefit of the community. They're very well supported, and they're annual events. And obviously, there's a bit of give and take on every side. But if you get down to the nitty gritty on that, the occupier's liability, as it has developed and as it has been amended, amending back the old ones around the mid-90s or so, that now the duty of care not to intentionally or recklessly injure, it leaves it harder to establish that the fault is on the owner of the property. If you're pursuing such an action, if I was pursuing such an action, I would probably be suing both parties, but the owner of the property may have a way out, and they would have their own insurance to defend it. And I reckon that point would come into play.
Everything's complicated, isn't it? Though very well explained. Mr. Gunn, if someone was left to stay in a house and is a non-relative to the deceased, and they have a number of pets in the house, which we believe is devaluing the property, But the pets were not mentioned in the deceased's will, only the person. What right have executors got concerning this matter? That's a complex one.
It's a super question, Greg, because it's the nitty-gritty of the distinction between what I would consider maybe a right of residence for another for a person, which they've been given under devised in a will. So it would be like to have the right to reside in the dwelling house free of rent or other charge for and during their natural lifetime. That's the kind of wording that's on it, and I would anticipate it'll be something like that. And the executors who would have charge of the property going forward and charged with managing it are concerned about it maybe being devalued. Now, they've referenced cats here in practical terms, and let's try to adopt a bit of practicality as well as a bit of law. In practical terms, at the end of such a term, if somebody's after living in a house the better part of their life, it's quite likely it's going to need a dramatic facelift. And, structurally speaking, again, being practical, I don't see that cats would be damaging it. But anyway, I'm not an expert in that line. But calling it as it is, if they wanted to be very strict about it, they will say, well, and the deceased wanted you to have a right to live in it. They didn't want to be given it to for right for your animals as such. So I don't think it's entirely unreasonable for the executors to be laying down certain well, not regulations, but putting it to them that, well, in the circumstances that they see it, to protect the property and to protect the value of it going forward, that, and the deceased made no reference to it whatsoever, technically they're not allowed. But,
yeah, the nitty-gritty of this, though,
would it make a huge difference to the property or the value of it? That's a question you'd have to consider.
Well, you see, I just wonder what the motivation for the question is. Is it really that you're afraid that cats could be devaluing the property, or would you like to see the person out of the house and you think they might be so attached to the cats that if the cats weren't allowed in the house no longer, that they may vacate? I can't talk to that, but...
No, you can't. We can't speak to that. And that's really not the way the question has been phrased. So
okay.
I'm trying to take it on the face of it, being bona fide, let's say, and that it is in good faith, and that they have such a reservation. But the right of residence is usually for the individual, and it would usually be for their lifetime, and they wouldn't have to pay any charge for it. They would, I think, reasonably have to cover any household charges, etc. But if there is a potential for the property being devalued, and the executors are charged with retaining the value of it and passing it on to somebody else, because there's likely to be a residuary clause, well then that's an obligation that they have to take seriously. However, I'm still just going to flip back to saying, approaching it practically, that if that is the case and somebody has left it for their lifetime, there's likely to be needed serious revamp at the end of that term, and look down that route and see where you go then.
All right, so two people got married, or they remarried, and they brought into that marriage two children from previous relationships. Now, whilst together, they agreed that everything would be split amongst the four children equally. Now, after one partner died, the remaining partner has decided to only leave what was left to their children, to their two children, and leave a much smaller amount to the other partner's children. Can they do this?
Well, yes, it's an interesting one. It's something that, on the face of it, I think should have been addressed before now. That's number one, because one has now passed away, and whatever arrangements they put in place, it could be interpreted that they were something like mirror or mutual wills, what we would call it, so that everything is left to each other, and in the event of that one not surviving or predeceasing, it then passes equally to partner number one's two children and partner number two, the other two children, in four equal shares. But, and this is the but, and it's quite important, that does not kick in once this partner succeeds the other. Because then, if that is the situation, and if that is the way the arrangements were made, then that partner inherits the lot, and then they can make their own arrangements. Now, and that's where the difficulty arises. If that was addressed previously, and they wanted to ensure that maybe two and two, they could have maybe considered leaving 50% to the partner and half to the two children, and similarly the other partner. But that's just looking back in hindsight as an option that they might have had. But if it's a situation where the individual has bequeathed everything to the partner on the assumption that that partner survives, well, then that partner has inherited the estate, and then it's up to them to do, as sometimes what they say, to do right by the deceased or otherwise. But as far as having any legal effect later on, unless there's some type of agreement that has been signed off on by them, could be difficult.
Seamus, it's been lovely having you on the programme. Thank you so very much indeed. And of course, you can engage Seamus directly yourself. Seamus Gunn of McLaughlin Gun and Company, with offices in beautiful Ramalton and beautiful Letterkenny as well. Yeah, it is actually beautiful in Ramalton. There's just no doubt about it. And I spent a bit of time there walking around it with Lee Gooch. And, I drove through it before and I knew it was lovely, but actually to just get your feet in the ground, it's wonderful. And there's a whole part of the town I wasn't really familiar with, which was great to discover.
Yeah.
So it is a lovely spot.
Every plug is greatly received and accepted, Greg. So it's nice of you to say that.
No, and it's us. I mean it in earnest.
Online, though, you'll get us at gun.ie.
You knew what was coming. Have you got an appointment at 5 to 11?
So regardless of the team.
Okay. Lovely stuff, Seamus. Look after yourself. Thank you very much indeed. Okay. Right, you are tuned to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Coming up on Sunday, though, we've a different show. I had a very vivid... Now, I don't mind flying. I love flying, actually. I used to be, when my nerves were very, very bad, I used to be very bad at flying, but I don't mind flying now because, I feel blessed. It's lovely. But I had a very vivid, specific dream about flying, and without going into details and not wishing to be insensitive, it didn't turn out great. The landing was a little bit more direct and without wheels than I had anticipated. This was a dream I had, of course, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's stuck in the back of my head now. But I'm gonna battle through it because we're flying out tomorrow. We are attending a lovely event tomorrow night. I'm sure it's going to be lovely. We are going to a birthday party. So Troy Gallagher, who is a Donegal man, of course, but has been mayor in London and is a sitting councillor. We're going to be attending his party on Saturday night, which we're looking forward to. And then we hot-tail it on Sunday to Greenford. And the weather's looking good, by the way. It's looking like another good Sunday in Greenford for the annual London Irish Vintage Club Show. And it's running on Sunday, and we're going to be broadcasting live a full OB from 12 noon to 2 p.m. We're going to be talking to the organisers of the wonderful day. And we also want to get a sense of the British-Irish relationship, the London-Irish relationship, and how people from Ireland and Donegal are getting on over there. So we're going to be talking to the Irish Elderly Network in London, who would deal with people who move to London. And, of course, they stay there beyond working years, and they need supports and infrastructure and what have you. So I'll be interested in that. We've got very strong trade between Ireland and Britain. So we've got the British-Irish Trade Alliance on the show. The Clayton Hotel City of London reps are going to be chatting to us. And 4 great charities are benefiting from the day. The Air Ambulance Northern Ireland, St Luke's Hospital Kenton, Stamp Out Suicide, and the HCPT Pilgrimage Trust, Group 144. And we're going to be speaking to reps from all of those as well, just to find out the work that they do and how important fundraising is. Hopefully we'll have some music and lots of crack, and there's plenty of people from Donegal going to be there, so we'll probably have a chat with them, come up and say hi, and we're getting contacts from people that will be there all the time. So it's going to be a lovely show. Dependent on our mobile coverage there, because we're using these particular special wireless routers, hopefully we'll be able to stream it out, but we will guarantee you to be on air where most of you live on the radio or your smart speakers. So that's on Sunday from 12 noon until 2 p.m. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to get over to London 10. Right, now, I'm giving you maybe a 10-minute warning here. If you want to be in the draw for €10,000 cash, give us a call right now, 07491 25,000. That draw is going to be made at the bottom of the next hour, as they say on youth stations, around about 12:30. That we can move that a little bit to make sure that everyone that contacts for us for a ticket gets in the draw, and then that's it. The draw drum's wheeled out of here again until God knows when. So if you want to be in with a chance to win 10 grand, you've got a very small window now to go onto the website highlandradio.com or give us a call on 07491 25,000, and we'll make sure that your name is in the hat. And that's very close to my last shout out, so If you aren't in now in the next 10 minutes, you certainly cannot win. We had Martin Gillespie from Buncrana on. He's down working in Bundoran. And he got a call at work to say he'd won $2,500. It was lovely. That was on the Naughty Alarm Clock with Lee Gooch. So Martin Gillespie's heading into the weekend with $2,500. It could be you this time, though, with 4 times that. 10,000 grand, £10,000. That is coming up in the next hour.
Your specialty is quality tiles, bathroom suites and wooden floors. Who has the best range of tiles in Donegal?
Crawford Tiles.
The best wood flooring?
Crawford Tiles.
The best bathroom suites?
Crawford Tiles.
5-day bathroom refits?
Crawford Tiles.
And who's been tampering with my questions?
That'll be me.
Crawford Tiles, Castlefin. That'll be them. 07491 43942.
It's Cabaret 25 at Harvey's Point. We start again on Wednesday, September the 3rd, and every Wednesday until November the 5th. An amazing lineup of stars, gourmet food, the warmest of welcomes, and all in the beautiful surrounds of Harvey's Point on Lough Esk, Donegal town. Book today 074 972 2208 or harveyspoint.com. The Harvey's Point Cabaret, a night not to be missed.
At Restex Beds, we are celebrating 50 incredible years in business. And we are introducing our brand new Glenveigh mattress, comfort that's as legendary as our half-century legacy. Experience 50 years of bedding excellence at Restex Beds, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Restex Beds, leave the rest to us.
Save on home essentials with Homeland September mega deals. There's Lions tea bag 600 pack now only $19.99. Save 15% on Royal Canin mini, medium or maxi dog food bags. And there's 25 litre double chamber ash vacuum now $49.99. Save €15. All this and more until September 21st. In store and online at homeland.ie.
Meet Louise. She made big savings on her car insurance when she made the switch to Outsurance.
Hi, I'm Louise. It's true, I saved €212 when I made the switch. And with the Out bonus, I'll get 10% of my premiums back in cash after 3 years claim-free.
Happy days. For a competitive car insurance quote like Louise's, call 1-800-600-400 or visit outsurance.ie. Real people, unreal savings. Outsurance. You always get something out. Based on a like-for-like policy comparison, the customer received a gratuity for their participation. Out bonus calculated less taxes and levies. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. Car and home insurance is underwritten by Outsurance DAC. Outsurance DAC, trading as Outsurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Longcome's free gift is back at McElhenny's. Buy 2 Longcome products, one to be skincare, to receive a free 7-piece set of Longcome Essentials. Add a 3rd Longcome product to your order for a full-size bonus gift. Offer available for a limited time, in-store and online at mcelhennys.com.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Okay, coming up in the next hour, Shannon Wilkins is going to join us to try and keep us right with what's trending on the socials, etc. We're also going to give away 10 grand. That and so much more besides. In fact, coming up very shortly, we're going to be talking to Father Paul Farren as it relates to a London-born teenager who's going to be canonised by Pope Leo this Sunday. That's going to be an interesting chat. To get us a little closer to that, though, let's get the latest news headlines. And it's Good Morning, Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A local councillor says the process through which potential independent presidential candidates go through to get their name on the ballot is unfair. The prospective candidates must garner support from 4 local authorities based on a majority vote, which is difficult to achieve when parties have their own candidates in the race. Councillor Martin Scanlon says the process will close the door to a large number of people to stand for election. SIPTU is urging the Agriculture Minister Martin Hayden to intervene in the situation surrounding the proposed closure of the ISPCA's Rehabilitation Centre in Ballyar in County Donegal. The union has been involved in discussions with the association about its plans ahead of a forthcoming merger between the ISPCA and the DCPSA. However, organiser Peter O'Brien says while the ISPCA has entered into talks with members regarding the redundancies, they haven't provided the financial information needed to properly assess the situation to either the Workers or the Workplace Relations Commissions. A 2-vehicle collision has occurred on the Crescent Link Road in Derry this morning. Police are currently at the scene. Drivers are advised to expect traffic delays as a result. Ireland has been suggested as a location for peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has invited Ukraine's president to peace negotiations in Moscow in an attempt to end the ongoing conflict. It comes as Ukraine reports 164 drones and missiles were fired by Russia overnight. Those expecting relief on energy costs in the upcoming budget may be disappointed. The government has confirmed Budget 2026 will not include any once-off payments. Last year's budget provided one-off support in several areas, including child benefit, electricity and social welfare. And finally, funding of £27,500 has been allocated to Derry City and Strabane District Council to help tackle the unsightly chewing gum problem. The council successfully applied to the Chewing Gum Task Force grant scheme, which is open to councils who wish to clean up gum in their local areas and invest in long-term behaviour change to prevent gum from being dropped in the first place. That's all from now from the newsroom. Back with more at 12 noon.
Thank you very much, Donna Marie. Father Paul Farron will join me after this very short break.
Throbbing head, sore back, the aches and pains of cold and flu. No one pain is the same, but for all those everyday pains, there's a moment when you start to feel release. That moment when you start to get back to being you, and you feels amazing. Panadol Extra film-coated tablets, powerful pain relief. Release starts here. Contains paracetamol, always read the label, leaflet.
St Eugene's Cathedral, Derry, will join the celebration of the canonization of Carlos Acutis, who is set to become a saint this Sunday in St Peter's Square in Rome. London-born teenager Carlo will be canonized by Pope Leo this Sunday, making him the first ever millennial saint. Father Paul Farron, administrator at St Eugene's Cathedral, Derry, joins me on the programme now. Father, good morning to you. Thank you so very much for your time.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. This is a remarkable story of a remarkable young man.
Yes, I think that's a very good way of describing it. Carlo was an ordinary young fella, and but he, in a sense, discovered the depth of joy that there is in living your faith in God. And for example, when from he made his first Holy Communion until he died, he went to Mass every day. And his mother would say that even when they went on holidays, the first thing he did was look for a church to see what time Mass was at. He was also a boy and young man who was very kind to the poor. And they lived in Milan for most of his life. And again, if he met homeless people or passed people on the way home from school, he might give them his shoes. He would do anything. He brought one of them home to stay because the man was just after being in hospital and needed care. So he got his mother to care for him. So he had a real heart for the gospel of treating others as you would like them to treat you. And again, then, of course, he was probably the first saint who was computer literate, and he was very computer literate, and he did a lot of work there in relation to Eucharistic miracles. So he was an ordinary young man of the age, born, I think, in 1990, and lived for 15 years, but he gave extraordinary example of how to live faith today.
There certainly is obviously going to be an element of nurture in his story, but obviously this was nature. How did he come, I wonder, to embrace and celebrate and dedicate his life to Catholicism from such a young age and with such commitment?
Yeah, I think a very strong influence in his young life was a Polish lady who worked in the family home with his family, and she was probably a nanny to Carlo, and she had strong faith. And I think he was particularly inspired by her faith. But yes, something very wonderful happened in the sense that for a young boy, he discovered the depth of life in God. And therefore, that was the context in which he lived his life. And then when he had to face his imminent death, which came very quickly, and again at a young age, he had utter confidence in God and in God's mercy. And so he offered his suffering up for the Pope and for the Church.
He's also been credited with miracles as well. What can you tell us about those?
Yes, well, obviously there were two miracles that were required in order for his canonization, one for his beatification, one for his canonization, and those miracles were recognized by the church. But I would say that even since we have brought the statue of Carlo into the cathedral and we have been blessed, his mother gave us a relic of Carlo, a first-class relic, that we have heard stories of miracles too, of people, being healed, people finding peace, people finding answers to prayers that seem to be impossible. So he does seem to be a powerful intercessor for us now in heaven.
And that is local people who have visited his statue or had interaction with the relic in the northwest of this country are reporting miraculous situations.
Yes, it is. And I suppose that's one of the things about miracles in general. Sometimes we think that they're very specific things for people far away. But if you actually look at your life, often many of us receive miracles, things that happen that we don't think are possible to happen. But in Carlo's case, there does seem to be definite intervention through his prayer where people are healed and people find peace and answer to their prayers. So he's a powerful intercessor and one that many people can relate to today because of his age, because of the time he lived, and because of his interest in the life that he lived.
In relation to the commissioning of a statue of the Blessed Carlo Acutis, is there a connection to St. Eugene's Cathedral, or what would have been the process or the decision-making alongside that? And obviously it moved his mother who donated a first-class relic to the church. But what is the connection there?
Well, I suppose the connection started, I could call it divine intervention, because it was through the internet and I was reading about Eucharistic miracles in the past in the church, and I realized that there was this young teenager who had created a website listing all the Eucharistic miracles that have happened through history. And so I became interested in the young fellow who did this. This was now before he was beatified. And then I realized that his mother was still alive. And I thought, gosh, she'd be a really interesting person to speak to. And so I contacted her. And it was from that the relationship with St. Eugene's Cathedral developed with Carlo. And again, it was just that he was so relevant to today and somebody that people could identify with and somebody that we know to be in heaven. So it has been wonderful to sort of accompany him now in that journey from when I became aware of him first to his beatification and now on Sunday, obviously, to his canonization.
Yeah, brilliant story. To celebrate the canonization, St. Eugene's Cathedral will be holding a veneration of first-class relics with a rosary and music on Sunday from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And thanks to modern technology as well, if you can't attend for one reason or another, you are able to watch the Mass online. Go to the steugenscathedral.com website. But talk to me more about the in-person experience on Sunday, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Sunday should be a very blessed day. We have the relic, as I said, from his mother. So people will have the opportunity to venerate the relic and to bring their prayers to Carlo for his intercession. We also will have the Blessed Sacrament exposed in the Mother Teresa Chapel, where people can then go and spend time in quiet prayer. We have confessions available as well. We have a film of Carlo that will be run continuously through the hours as well in the sacristy. And then at 7 o'clock on Sunday evening, Bishop McKeown will do a Mass of thanksgiving for Carlo's canonization. And so, yes, it's a day where we can be close to the saint on the same day as Pope Leo canonizes him in St. Peter's in Rome. So there will be a great unity in the celebration, and also, please God, many miracles and healings for those who come along and those who join us online who are unable to be with us.
Yeah, and an opportunity for maybe people to reconnect as well. It sounds like it would be a wonderful day for that.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's very important, to find a way back to God, who is always waiting for us to come to him. And Carlo may be just the person who can lead us closer to God at this time.
Yep, and it could be a little mini miracle in its own wee way as well. And for people that think that maybe I thought this was happening previously, just to allay that in your mind, he was initially to be canonised on the 27th of April, but obviously Pope Francis passing forced the Vatican to postpone that, and now it's fallen to the responsibility of our new Pope, Pope Leo.
That's correct, yeah.
Father, It's been lovely speaking to you. Well done for having the foresight. I presume maybe there was a guiding hand on your shoulder somewhere to sort of establish this this connection between our region and the soon-to-be St. Carlo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Enjoy the day. And just to remind you, if it's something that's relevant to you, if it's not, well, people can do whatever they want to do. To celebrate the canonization, St. Eugene's Cathedral will be holding a veneration of first-class relics with a rosary music this Sunday from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And Bishop Donald McKeown will be holding a Mass of Thanksgiving at 7 p.m. The diocese has said everyone is welcome to the celebration, and that Mass will be streamed on St. Eugene's Cathedral's website, steugenscathedral.com/webcam. So you can engage in that Mass at 7 p.m. if that's what you want to do. Right, I think the lines are closed. If you are currently waiting for a call back from us, or you're on the phone for a ticket for our €10,000 draw, we're not going to leave you hanging, right? And also we are going to make sure now over the next wee while to get everybody's tickets into the draw drum. It is sitting there ready to go. It's going to be topped up with tickets very, very shortly. So do not panic if you're waiting on a call back, or if you're on the line, we will sort you out for a ticket. And anything that's happening on the website at the moment, of course, will be processed. And quite literally, it's a physical ticket, by the way, that's attributed to your name, and it goes into the draw drum. You don't have to answer the phone, by the way. We love to have a chat and see how you're getting on, and congratulate you in person. But just in case you're working in a shop or a doctor's surgery or what have you, you don't have to answer the telephone. But we want to have a chat and congratulate you in person. It's very exciting. Someone's going to win 10 grand in the next 45 minutes. Brilliant stuff.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Weanling prices rocket. In this week's Irish Farmers Journal, farmer buyers drive on weanling prices in March. Find out what beef finishers need to make a profit this winter. Concern as Mercosur deal moves a step closer. Hill farm emissions could be overstated. Legal pitfalls to avoid when transferring the farm. Top tips on how to reduce your tax bill. Plus, get a free pair of wellies with a home delivery subscription. Only inside this week's Irish Farmers Journal, on sale now.
Planning a celebration? Discover the brand new Lily's restaurant at the Mount Errigal Hotel. A stylish new space with beautiful surroundings and your own private bar. Perfect for birthdays, communions, anniversaries and more. Book now at Res Diary or call 074 912 2700.
Túir de bhór náir de bheith léin. Is féidir le seirbhísí bus nascáitiúil TFI atá ar fáil ar fud na tíre, tú a cheangal le réimse lehan choláistí ó cheann na bliana. Sa bháiltar sús le 50 géad ar hálaí agad nuair a bhaineann tú leas as do háirta lí TFI désa óga nó de bheith léin. Túir cuairt ar transportforireland.ie. Is sinna Transport for Ireland. Is muid iompar dit.
At DoorTech Garage Door Systems in Kilmacrennan, we specialise in the supply and installation of all types of industrial roller doors and garage doors. Whether for your home, business or farm, our doors offer the security you need. For premium quality doors, call DoorTech on 9139941 or visit doortech.ie.
PDO thread lifts and skin boosters, which rejuvenate the skin by improving facial contours, lifting and tightening the jowls, neck, cheeks and eyebrows, are available at Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. To choose the right aesthetic treatment for you, contact Mary Ferry, your aesthetic practitioner. Also offering fat-dissolving treatments, dermal fillers and laser treatments for all skin conditions. Hair and makeup packages also available. Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. 07495 325 75.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time now is 11:16. We're joined in studio by our friend and colleague. You don't need the headphones, do you? Shannon Wilkins. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, Greg.
How are you getting on?
All good. What about you? You sore?
No. Oops, what have I done? No, I'm fine, actually. Just the tops of my hips. I'm not sure what that's all about. You went for another 3K walk in the evening then,
I
after
did.
our Ironmore adventure. Absolutely mad.
No, I was like, I've got my walk. I'm all happy, and the poor dog's been sitting in all day.
The wee pet. And you're also now heading to an outside broadcast around the northwest. Where are you going?
We are down in McCabe's Pharmacy.
Brilliant stuff.
So it's just across from the community centre if anyone wants to call in, because there will be hamper giveaways and spot prizes as well. And of course, you might even get a wee picture with John Breslin. So.
Well, I mean, that's worth it in itself. The hamper would be second place to that. Just to reiterate, the lines are closed now, so there's no more tickets available for our draw. Right, now, we invite you in. I think it's really to try and keep me young and relevant. That's why I think this is a good idea. But it's for a roundup of what's been happening in the online world, little trends or stuff we might be missing. And the first story is a local story.
Yeah, so Eric Roberts has just been announced as the new anchor of Ireland AM. This is after Siobhan O'Rourke's departure. So she's expecting, and I think she just can't really give as much time to it as she could previously. But
she's expecting. Right, okay, so he's got the seat.
He's got the seat. He started doing a wee bit of fill-in work for them around September 2023. He was a weekend anchor last year, 2024, around July time. And then he's been doing a few gigs midweek just as fill-ins, and now he's got the full-time gig, so
Brilliant.
Well done.
Okay, get on Instagram, get on Snapchat, and get on...
I have a wee
everything
video
else, you never know what
in
you
there
might...
on WhatsApp of Eric as well. So
okay, let me see. Well, you could have told me that in advance.
I'm sorry.
I was kicking myself yesterday because we obviously had access to Daniel O'Donnell.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask him about CMAT's outfit, but I'll get to that in a second because I was something to
Daniel O'Donnell's in this video too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I'm on a Daniel buzz, like you said. I got in the car yesterday, and
he
I was
does
just
that
like,
to you, though.
wow.
He draws you in, doesn't he? Right. Okay.
He
Let's
really
see
does.
what. Let's see and hear what Daniel O'Donnell has got for us. If you're watching at home, you'll be able to see this as well. All right, Daniel, what have you got?
He's here. He's here. Eric is here. There he is, folks. Eric.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Welcome.
Good to see you. Great to be here, guys.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Very excited.
How about this?
Yeah, it's a class act, isn't he,
So,
Daniel?
I don't know if you've actually seen that one, but it's based. I think she's a lady from Monaghan, but she'd been waiting.
Don't click the pen.
Sorry.
Okay.
She'd been anxiously anticipating Daniel's visit, and then he arrived, and she goes, "He's here. Daniel is here." So go watch the original video. So the fact that Eric put his own twist on it, good job, Eric.
I see. That's
Yes.
trends, you see. He saw a trend and he's got on it.
Yeah, and to get Daniel O'Donnell on board, like.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so CMAT is a massive Irish artist at the moment. She's great. And she was at EP, wasn't she? And she was wearing a massive dress with Daniel O'Donnell's face all over it.
Yeah, she was actually at Belfast Vital. She unfortunately wasn't at EP.
I thought that was EP.
No.
All right, okay.
Well, if she was, I didn't see her, and I was there all weekend.
Mm.
So I don't know. But it is actually two twins from Donegal. They designed her dress, the Daniel dress, in homage to the King of Donegal, as we know him. So it's Murren and Brodie McFeely of Cupla Designs. And it actually all came about. CMAT was shooting her music video down here in the Regional Cultural Centre for her song When a Good Man Cries. She spotted the dress, and there were a few Donegal people involved in the production of that video as well, and she just fell in love with it. So
Let's
it's
have
great.
a quick look at that dress. Yeah, it's there's a lot of Daniel.
There is.
There is a lot of
That's
Daniel
not a
on
bad
that
thing,
dress,
though.
but he's iconic. I mean,
He
there's
is.
something about him. I don't know how he is so multi-generational. I mean, Daniel O'Donnell is cool. Young people genuinely find him cool.
But he's endearing, and he's funny as well. Like, you wouldn't think he'd be funny as well, but he's so witty, like.
Yeah. Anyway, it's
crazy.
great. It is brilliant, and it's great to get that local connection as well there as well. Now, Coca-Cola electric picnic influencer controversy. This is a sticky old wicket. This I didn't note any Donegal influencers being guilty of this, but it sparked a conversation. What is the controversy?
So everyone is being urged to boycott Coca-Cola as a brand
Because
they
of
are
its-
involved its connection to Israel.
Yeah.
So it's actually the UK-based activist group Palestine Solidarity Campaign, and everyone has been hitting out online to the influencers for staying in a Coca-Cola tent because they might have been gifted or just hanging out there in general. But Garen Noon is hitting out at the critics now, and he's saying there's no point in us being cancelled left, right and centre over Coca-Cola glamping gate.
Yeah, I think Gareth Noon is brilliant at what he does.
Mhm.
I think when he tries to step into social issues, he's had problems in the past in that regard. Listen, the reality is if you use your platform to say, you know, you're pro-Palestine, and, you know, you speak to your people because, you know, you're influencing them, and then you do go and take a backhand from a company that's synonymous with Israel, I think you're going to be called out on it. Now, whether you should be cancelled or not, of course not, right? You should be able to have an opinion. But, you know, if you are preaching, you know, you have to, I think, practice what you preach. Am I being harsh?
No, I get where you're coming from, but I also think it's quite difficult. Even, for example, we're supposed to be boycotting HP laptops and computers, but a lot of people where they work, you know, that might be what's used. It's not really a personal decision. You just kind of have to go with it. But what I find is even people in comments sticking up for the influencers, they were getting hated on left, right and centre, which is so
well,
good.
the online is not and never will be a place where you can have an opinion without it being challenged.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think sometimes too with influencers, they're information givers and they are adored and, oh, you're looking great, babes, and all this kind of stuff. But when you then step into the world of activism, things change and there are different views and you need to be conscious of that. You need to be conscious of that. Right. A local GEA club raised a ton of money. This was at Electric Picnic, I presume.
This was, I promise I'll stop talking about it next week.
It's fine.
So Killishen GAA Club managed to garner €15,000. Dun dun dun. So they had over 70,000 empty cans and bottles, which they returned worth 15 and 25 cents. So that's great. But I wonder how much of that rubbish ended up just in generic landfill, because they did have dedicated zones to your recycling items. But how'd that go? We actually got all our drink in Asda because we didn't want to have to do the whole re-return thing. So
Wow, how completely irresponsible, but
Yeah.
also incredibly honest.
I've no money to Killishen GAA. I'll have to go make a wee donation
But
now.
listen, they get recycled there anyway, so it's not as if your cans are going to end up in a dolphin's mouth. You know,
No,
you're all right.
they're sustainable cans.
Right. So, what was Electric Picnic like? You didn't do glamping, but also you didn't do you sort of had a mid-tier, didn't you, where there was a bit of space amongst places. Would you go again?
I will go again. I kind of compared it to my first day of college, because you're kind of running around, you're wondering where everything is, you're trying to make friends. Do I know this person? And, you know, it was like a trial run. Now I feel I know the area a wee bit. I know what to expect, how much time you have to give. Next time I'm going, I'm definitely going to go to the comedy tent.
Yeah.
I tried to do that this year, but just ended up chatting to people.
Good. That's good too. And is there is it possible to keep the outside, or does the outside invariably end up inside the tent?
The outside ends up inside you. It's in your bones, Greg. It's in, like,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
But
They actually sold out in 90 minutes.
Yeah,
the tickets
for next year
on Wednesday. Yeah,
brilliant
90
stuff.
minutes.
And what was I going to ask you? Who was your favourite artist that you saw? I think you said Hosier, did you? What?
Yeah,
Why?
but
What
this-
about him?
This is a wee bit of a funny one as well. It was the Timahoe Men's Choir.
Okay.
Really random, but they were singing pure bops, clapping. They were having the time of their lives. It wasn't too packed. There was enough space that you could still dance, and everyone was taking part. And then it was so lovely because it was children, probably as young as 7, to men in their 70s, and they all wore little matching polos and beige chinos, and they all had the same brown shoes.
Oh, lovely. So
very
that was
cute.
your hidden gem.
My
that you
hidden
discovered.
gem.
All right.
Next year, if they're not there, I don't know what I'm going to do.
All right, Hundy P. Thanks very much for that. Do you know what that means?
No.
You don't know what Hundy P
Hundy
is?
P, no.
Okay, right. Well.
I'm going to say it's because you're English. I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah, but firstly, I'm not English. That's literally a demonstrable fact. Because I have a slight twang because I worked in London for 3 or 4 years. Last time we were doing this, you were giving out about my age, and this time it's about where I'm from.
Yeah, I wonder what it'll be next week.
Well, I dare to worry. Okay, listen, brilliant stuff. Shannon, and you're heading to London as well. It's myself, you, Sean's going to be there. Ashton's tagging along as well. You're going to meet up with your Charlie over there. He's over there for the birthday party. Do we know anything about that birthday party? Hopefully we'll get some content for Sunday from
I'm
it.
not too sure what we're allowed to reveal about it. Someone from Letterkenny is turning a big age, and we are going.
Oh, well, I've already revealed all that.
Oh, you've revealed it all? Oh, dear.
It's hardly a surprise.
No, like he organised it. Like.
All right, okay.
Oops, you ruined the surprise.
Listen, thanks very much, Shannon. That's Shannon Wilkin there. 086 60 25,000. If you were at an electric picnic, it's a long time ago now. Maybe you've got your tickets for next year, but if there's any funny wee stories that you want to share with us, feel free to do so. Thanks, Shannon. Right, it is almost big drum roll time. We've been at this now for not as long as you might think. It's been our big mega summer cash draw giveaway, and we have €10,000 remaining to give away. And, you know, it's one thing after another here on Highland Radio, because I see Lee Gooch and I see Keith Fletcher knocking about the building, and that can only mean one thing. They're gearing up for our big bingo party night as well, so we'll tell you more about that as that gets closer. But I imagine they're recording a few promos to play out on the radio. Looking forward to that. Right, let's take a break and we'll line up the crew to come in and give someone 10k.
Do you sometimes struggle to hear? It could just be earwax and it's easily treated. Hidden Hearing right now are offering free earwax removal for everyone over 60, carried out by our qualified earwax technicians. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie. Hidden Hearing, your hearing is our expertise. T's and C's apply.
You don't need me to tell you, business isn't easy. But if you look in the right places, there are easy wins out there. 3 words, SEAI Business Supports. And I know what you're thinking. Sure, that'll take ages. 3 more, Rapid Approval Grants. So you can start cutting your energy costs in minutes. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm just a voiceover. So head to seai.ie/easy wins. Are you ready? Supported by the Government of Ireland.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system, and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
Did you know you can earn up to €14,000 tax-free if you rent a room in your own home to students? If you're in Letterkenny and have accommodation to rent, maybe a house, apartment, digs or a room, the Students' Union at ATU would love to hear from you. Call 086 77 02 700 or email suwelfare.donegal@atu.ie to have your property added to their student accommodation list.
It's back to school. Want to save big time on dinners? Aldi gets a good report. There's so much to choose from, like Irish diced chicken pieces for $3.69, wholemeal tortilla wraps for $1.35, and a fajita spice mix for just 65 cents. Great value in any language. Good food, good mood from Aldi, while stocks last.
Want to refresh your style without breaking the bank or the planet? Shopping Spree is back this Saturday, September 6th from 12 to 3 at the Garden Centre, Carndonagh. Expect reels of pre-loved fashion, swap opportunities, DIY repair and upcycling tips, plus live music and a good vibe. It's about fun, fashion and sustainability rolled into one. Don't miss Shopping Spree, where you can look good, feel good and do good.
Well, this is it. Someone's going to win 10 grand because it is the culmination of our mega summer draw. 20,000 in total. 10,000 is already split amongst 4 lucky winners, and now we've got the big one. It's €10,000, and it's been a sharp run. Lots of interest and lots of great winners. We had Martin earlier on today down in Bundoran, but from Buncrana, picking up 2.5 grand. You know, significant money that can make a difference to people's lives, and 10 grand. Definitely, unless you're absolutely minted, is a figure, Sean, that can change someone's month or year. I mean, that's a year of mortgage for some people. Like, you know what I mean? It's really
absolutely.
significant.
Do you know what? It's a lovely thing to have today to on a Friday, just to get that phone call, and you can start planning. It might be Christmas you start planning, or it might be you want to change the car, or you might just want to keep looking at it every Friday in your bank account.
Just sitting there, keeping warm.
It's a wee bit still there. It's still there. It's entirely up to you. The thing is, if you bought a ticket, you've now got a chance. We're going to give somebody 10,000 in big cash very, very shortly. Where's it going to go, Greg? Where do you think?
I don't know where it's going. Should we play that game?
If you want to.
Okay, I think it's going to go to... If we're right, then it might look like a fix. Good question. Where is it going to go? I always think, sort of that Kilmacrennan, Cranfordy, Fawn, Downings area. I'm going to go, if I can sort of pick an area.
Okay.
I think it's going to go there.
Right. I'm going to go safe.
Go on, Letterkenny?
I'm going to go Letterkenny.
All right, okay.
I think, because we've been right across the county, actually, with the last 4 winners.
So we've had Falcarra first.
Yeah.
We had Buncrana last, and
we
the
did.
middle two. Do you remember where they were?
You put me on the spot there.
It's around the place anyway.
Dunlow
was one. I think
Dunlow was one.
Yeah,
it was. It was. I can't remember the fourth one, but yeah, it's been 4 different locations.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
you
great.
think it's Letterkenny's turn?
I'm going to go Letterkenny.
Right, I'm going sort of I'm going Farney, Falcarra, Annagry, and Manor. Right, okay.
Well, that's about half
And
the
Buncrana.
county.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's good.
Oh, that's where we've been. Okay.
That's where the winners have been.
Okay, yeah, got you.
So
I
see
thought
what
you
you're
were.
saying,
Yeah.
I think it'll be but I think it'll be somewhere between Bundoran and Buncrana, Raphoe and Aaron Moore. Right, okay, so listen, all of the numbers are in, so if you were online or you called us this morning, your number, and that's why we have this little period of time before we actually do the draw to ensure everyone is in there. We took one from the top earlier on, which was good. We give it a good rotate, and then took one from the top, and that was our lucky friend, Martin Gillespie. I want to talk about the closing date for the Customer Services Awards, but we might do that afterwards.
Yeah,
if that's okay.
Let's make somebody 10,000 richer.
Let's take off your cans then, and we've got this all on camera for anyone watching, or you can watch back a little later on. You'll see our CEO Sean Quinn there fiddling with that latch. It's been the weak link
I know.
all the time, hasn't it?
It makes me nervous.
Yeah, no, me too. But as long as it doesn't fall off its stand, okay.
So I go middle, bottom.
It's completely
left.
up to you. Let luck guide your hand.
Okay.
And what have we got? 0516.
0516.
0516. So that's confirmed. 0516. So that number is associated to a person's name. We don't know if it was one ticket. We don't know if they bought a batch of 5. It could be in their own name. It could be in a grandchild's name. These are all questions that we wait with bated breath to find out what the story is. But 0516 is the winner of €10,000. So people are now busily checking their emails or the bits of paper that they got from Highland. But it's going to be 10 grand, and we look forward to finding out what they might spend the money on. As I say, we're going to give them a ring and hopefully have a quick chat. It's not part and parcel of it. They've won the money anyway.
Probably 3.5 weeks ago, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's not one of your lucky double winners that you're
it
dreaming
might
of
be.
still.
It could be. You never know. Could be Falcarra.
Yeah. Come here. You're looking forward to the London Vintage Club Irish Day on Sunday.
I am. Yeah,
Greenford,
I am.
yeah.
Yeah, this will be my 3rd year.
I was going to ask you how many have you been to. This
3,
is your third one,
yeah, and it's great, because you meet different people every year. And it kind of overwhelmed me the first time, the size of the whole event, and it's great to be part of it.
And I've taken the opportunity more recently to have a good walk around, because we kind of be focused in one area which has got lots of traffic, but behind where we're broadcasting and north and west and south of it, you've got corrals of sheep, you've got these wonderful €1 million classic cars, and you've got this machinery, because there's thankfully so many young Irish people that went over there and made a fortune, and they're able to, bring their gear with them and show it off.
Do you know what I love, Greg, is the fact that yes, they've done well for themselves, but they just love their roots of where they come from. They never forget, and I think that's great, and that's why we love being part of it.
All right, okay. John McLaughlin, good morning to you. It's Greg Hughes here at
Good
Island
morning.
Radio, by the way. How are you keeping?
Oh, grand.
Very good, very good. Now, listen to me. Did you buy any tickets for any competitions in Highland Radio lately?
I did, yeah.
Okay. When did you buy your ticket?
At the beginning of the draw.
Oh, right at the very beginning. So we've had 4 draws for $2.5 grand, and you've won nothing. Your number didn't come out, so you haven't won anything yet. Anyway.
Not yet, anyway. No.
All right. Okay. Well, we just wanted to bring on one random listener just as we're about to make the draw. So can you stay there in the line, and we'll just see now if your number comes out.
I can, yeah.
All right.
I
Just
can.
hold the line. Sean, you're going to pull the number. Oh no, actually, we've already done it, John. Your number came out. You've just won 10,000 blooming euro. How do you feel?
Oh, feel great. Great altogether.
That's so unfair on him,
very
Greg.
much.
I know. Come here, John. I'm here with our CEO, Sean Quinn. We've just conducted the draw, and your number came out. Your lucky number, 0516, John, and you've won 10,000 euro to head into the weekend. How are you feeling?
Oh, feel great altogether.
Very good.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Well
John,
done.
Fantastic.
Are you a lucky person generally, John? I mean, we're all lucky, aren't we? We've got our health and stuff. But are you lucky in draws or competitions or what?
Not really, no, not really.
Okay,
No.
You are today, then.
I am today, yes. Thank you very much.
All right, brilliant stuff, John. It's the obvious question. Any ideas what you might spend the money on?
Well, hopefully make one holiday.
Wow, brilliant. All right.
You might take Greg with you, will you?
I was going to say, be some holiday for 10 grand. John, you might go on a holiday every year for the next 5 years and really go all-inclusive for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant stuff. And I should mention John's from Carndonagh. Wonderful in
Inishowen. Double up in Inishowen. That's great.
All right, listen, John, congratulations. Well done to you.
Thank you very much.
We've 10,000 euro and we'll be in contact with you and we'll get it to you as soon as is possible for you to enjoy and do whatever you like. And I do hope you get to go on holidays and really enjoy the money, John. You deserve it.
Thank you very much.
All right.
That's very nice.
Congratulations,
Thank
John.
you.
Well, and as Fanula Rabbit always says, go mad. Go mad.
All right, John, listen, whenever you're drinking a sex on the beach somewhere, think of us on your holidays. All right, John, take care of yourself. Thank you very much indeed. And that's that.
Yeah, that's great.
That is the draw done, Sean,
Brilliant.
for
Delighted.
another year.
Absolutely delighted. So obviously we can only have so many winners, but thank you to everybody that entered. And congratulations to all the winners across the 4 weeks. And so we'll be back at some stage probably in the near future with our card draw, which will be our next big one.
Excellent. So Martin and John, between them collecting 12,500 euro today. So delighted for them. Well done. I'm sure Martin's trip home from Bundoran will feel extra short. And John, I think the penny's just dropping.
I think so.
And it's 10,000 of them.
I think his phone's going to go mad, which is great, but not fantastic.
Right. Okay.
Come here, just a quick one is the our customer service awards. The nominations are closing on Monday. So if you haven't had a chance to get to highlandradio.com and vote for your favourite business across the county, then please do so in the next 2 to 3 days, because they will close on Monday and we will start our process of shortlisting businesses.
Right, and that means you've got a weekend, folks, to stick a poster in your front window. Or stick it up on your social media, wherever you choose to do it. You can download the poster from our website. Just click through to the Customer Services Awards, and it's a big, bright, vibrant poster. Works very, very well on your social medias. So don't feel like you're being left out. Sometimes we have to back ourselves a little bit, and it's not... Someone else might think that your business has been nominated, okay? So don't presume that. Download this poster, stick it on your socials, and say, look, guys, if you like what we've been doing for the next wee while, we'd love if you would back us and vote for us. So you can get that and stick it up on your socials today, and that means you get the weekend. You get the weekend out of people potentially voting for you. And as I say, sometimes we have to back ourselves a little bit, but we've had a great response. And there's multiple categories, okay? The headline categories are they are hair and beauty, house and home, lifestyle, and motor and retail, and then there are subcategories there. It's really, really simple actually to find where your business that you want to nominate fits in there, Sean, because we've done this a few times now.
Absolutely.
And we kind of have the categories that catch all.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've made it as simple as possible. So go onto our website, view it, look at it, and you'll find a category which will definitely be a local business close to you, somebody that you use on a regular basis, and give them that nomination today. Because, if they're good at what they do, recognise it, as I said before. And we've had would you hear this? Over 12,000 nominations already.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
that's
phenomenal.
Really that's the voting hasn't even started.
No. Wait, this is just to shortlist the businesses.
Well done, everyone out there. And and you know what? If you're working in customer-facing businesses, fair play to you, because there's 12,000 people have been so impressed with what you're doing that they've taken the time to go online. So just for an example, and the one thing about these awards is they're fully inclusive. It doesn't matter if you are a multi-million euro turnover hotel, or it doesn't matter if you're a coffee dock. You know, people vote for you, and people are judged on criteria that levels the playing field, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the wonderful thing about this. And when you go to the party night, as I call it, but if you go to the big night, the award ceremony, the mixture of businesses there is nothing, right? Quite literally, there is nothing like it. And we have a fantastic night, and we'll do that again, Sean, in the not too distant future. So nominations for businesses, be it a hair salon, bridal hair and makeup, in lifestyle, it could be a cafe deli, it could be pub of the year, spa of the year, fitness facility, maybe it's in retail, it could be a pharmacy, a butcher's, sports retailer. Let's go to house and home, it could be a garden centre, an estate agent, a kitchen supplier, right? These are for you if you work with the public. There's something there for everyone, Sean.
That was very slick, Greg, I have to say now.
I know.
There's definitely a Rosa Trilly in you sometime.
Presenting it.
Absolutely, yeah. The way you can
But
just
I'm
go...
reading all of that.
Shush.
Oh, sorry.
Tell that you're memorising it, Greg. I was trying to tee you up there.
I mean, but it's not in my nature. I sometimes put my foot in it, right? Because I just say the truth.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, and we've got our overall sponsor, by the way, we should mention, of course, McElhenny's. They've come on board, as Sean often puts it, an easy phone call. iMotors, great friends of ours as well. Other sponsors, do you wish to mention, Sean?
Yeah, no, so we have AirGrid as well with us this year, which is great to have them. Hickey, Clark and Langan are
Your
with
way,
us again.
Shannon, yeah?
And,
You're off eating again, as usual. All right, okay, go on. All right, she's off with John Bresnan for their OB.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah, go ahead.
TCS is another sponsor for, and Calhan Electrical.
That's Tata Consultancy Services,
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah, it
and
is.
they've just acquired, not just, but they've acquired the pension contract, haven't they? So they're very busy recruiting as well.
Yeah,
good to see them growing.
Great contract, great to have it in Donegal. So across the board, probably on the evening, Greg, we're looking at about 120 businesses that will be in the Mount Arago to enjoy what will be a brilliant night. Make sure it's your business. If you've got an opportunity this week, ask, go, beg, whatever you have to do. Be part of it.
Tradesperson of the year, right? So let me talk about this for a quick moment, and it's not because I favour this.
Yeah.
But we've got fellas out there and women out there, right, that they come around and they do a bit about your house, and they're banging away on social media, and they're flat out, don't get me wrong, but do they often get the credit that they deserved? Well, they're in there with your hardware retailer of the year. They're not competing, you know what I mean? They have their own specific category, but it's a very important role.
Yep.
Your hairstylist of the year. These are people that can be almost like your counsellor as well. Do you know what I mean? Really important individuals, or it could be that person that does your nails, or it could be that spa that you love to go to. That's how broad they are, and we get them all under the one roof. In the Mount Arago, did you say?
Yeah, it's the Mount Arago, yeah. Okay. So Sunday the 5th of October. There's a new one there this year.
Sunday
which
the 5th of October.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we're going down to the awards. I was wondering, that's clashing.
That's the
with
Friday.
something.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're busy weekend.
Yeah.
But there's a new one, actually. This is the personal trainer of the year. And that's actually going well. That one is there. I hadn't realised there were so many personal trainers out there.
Yeah.
So
what's that one there? OPT, I can't. Optician. Yeah.
Optician, yeah.
So the writing's very small. Optician of the year, and so on and so forth. Brilliant. So there's individuals, there's companies. You can have people that have a multi-million euro car dealership, but there's also a category for the person who's not necessarily on that scale, but offers fantastic customer service and support. And that's what it's all about. It's so inclusive. And we want nominations from wherever in the county, by the way. It doesn't matter if it's a coffee dock on the Leitrim border just outside Bundoran, or if it's on Tory Island, or wherever it might be. Everyone's involved in this. It's county-wide, so please get nominating, because you only have a really short window. Just to remind our businesses again, you can download a Nominate Us poster, and you can stick that on your social media too, so that will trigger people hopefully to nominate, or you can print it off and stick it in your window. I'm so tight. I'm looking at that
No
going,
way, are you?
No, I'm looking at that going, geez, that's a lot of blue ink. I'm just going to put it on Facebook.
Well,
That's a lot of blue ink.
The thing with Facebook is people can share it automatically.
Yeah.
They can go, click, but they can also share it and encourage people to share it. You know, go and ask the question, because they will do it. We can see from previous winners, they were active on their social medias. Do it today.
Yeah, exactly. And also, that's on the 6th of October, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And then we're down in Kilkenny on the 4th of October, because we're really lucky, and we've mentioned this before, but we've been shortlisted in 3 categories for the IMRO Awards. They're the All-Ireland Radio Awards. They're like the Oscars of Irish radio, and this show's been shortlisted. Our election coverage has been shortlisted, and also Oisin Kelly is nominated as Sports Broadcaster of the Year. So hopefully, I was listening to the...
Bring 3 home, Greg. Bring 3.
The hat trick.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Wouldn't it be?
We might get home for the awards. That's the only thing.
We will. We will, Sean. I'll make sure you get home. Don't you worry about that. All right, brilliant stuff. And I see also Lee and Keith in the building, so they're obviously gearing up for the big bingo night.
I was watching them there. They were being very creative there in the studio recording ads.
I think they could have kept their trousers on. But you know what?
Oh, I didn't see that much now.
It's whatever works for them artistically, but I think they possibly could have kept their trousers on. That's all I'm saying.
All for the good cause
when
of
is
the
that?
event.
Do you know off the top of your head when the big one is
You've
on?
hit me in the top of your head.
Right.
It's November, the middle of November.
Okay, so
but everything's on the website now. You can actually
Brilliant.
book it on the website.
Fantastic.
Be a
Okay,
great
brilliant
night.
stuff.
A lot
All right.
happening, Greg. Great to be part of it.
You know what? It is actually wonderful to be a part of. Okay.
Yep.
Listen, thanks very much, Sean Quinn. Really appreciate your time. And John McLaughlin in Carndonagh, I think you're a bit shell-shocked. Hopefully the fact that you've got 10 grand now is sinking in. Well done, John. Well done to our other winners this day and also in previous weeks. And as Sean kind of hinted, there might be a pretty nice car up for grabs a little later on in the year, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done the deal, so it's I won't tell them, but it's going to be a cracking car. It'll be. I think it's probably we've upped it again. So watch this space. We'll give you a couple of months, and we'll come back and give you the opportunity closer to Christmas. And with a lot of Christmas, I'm thinking Christmas already. I'm thinking home for Christmas. I'm already looking at that because that's on the horizon. We're in September. Before we know it, we're going to be October, November.
Yeah, well, I don't mind it now. I'm out of summer mode. If we get a week, fine, but I'm fine. I'm happy. A wood fire in the evenings, and that'll do me.
I've Salou to get over as well in a week's time. So
why don't? One second here. The cameras are back on. Sorry, 1 second. The cameras
I should have got out when I could have got out. I should have.
Who do you have to snuggle up to get on this Salou trip?
Oh well, that's
can you imagine my interaction with all of our listeners? Not literally, metaphorically. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
You're going to Salou.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Why are you going to Salou?
So I was there last year.
But why am I not going to Salou?
Because David's fronting the whole show. It's
that's fine.
Yeah. So we're kind of the media backer behind it as well. So. And it was a brilliant experience last year.
I'm sure it was. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I know last year you did try to pitch to get over.
Yeah.
There's always next year.
No.
There's always next year.
Do you think I'm 5? Are we there yet, Dad? Come here. We'll be back with more after the break. Join me, Greg Hughes, as I broadcast live from the London Irish Vintage Club Show in Greenford, London, this Sunday from 12 noon till 2 p.m. I'll be talking to a number of guests on the day, including the organisers of the event, the British-Irish Trade Alliance, the Irish Elderly Network in London, the Clayton Hotel City of London, representatives from the chosen charities that will benefit from the day, including Air Ambulance Northern Ireland and Stamp Out Suicide. Tune in this Sunday from 12 noon with me, Greg Hughes, live from the London Irish Vintage Club Show, London.
SSE Airtricity are bringing you better value than ever before with our very best dual fuel plan. Get 35% off electricity plus 30% off gas, saving you up to €928. Don't miss out on the opportunity to start making savings. Simply visit ssceairtricity.com today and join the thousands who have already made the switch. SSE Airtricity. This is Generation Green. EAB €2,475. Offer available to new domestic customers from July 31st, 2025. Rates valid from April 2nd, 2025. For T&Cs, tariff, standing charge, claim verification and exit fees, see ssceairtricity.com.
At Eclipse Cinemas Bundoran and Lifford Strabane, the stars shine brighter. This isn't just a trip to the movies, it's a VIP experience. Sit back in luxury as your favourite pizza,
Yummy.
hot food and a cold drink are delivered right to your seat in any studio. But for the ultimate treat, step into the Director's Lounge, our most popular destination. Enjoy the film, enjoy the food and savour the experience. Only at Eclipse Cinemas Bundoran and Lifford Strabane.
It's the Right Price Tiles wood flooring and bathware 70% off sale. Get up to 70% off all your purchases. Up to 70% off all tiles, all wood flooring, all bathware. Everything's reduced in store. The 70% off sale at Right Price Tiles, wood flooring and bathware. Stores nationwide. Sale extended until Sunday.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhinney's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcilhenneys.com today.
Right, let's have a look at that weather forecast, which I haven't opened, which is not unusual. Right, Friday mostly dry with a mix of cloud and hazy sunny spells. Highest temperatures of 15 to 18 degrees. Mildest further east, all in just light to moderate south to southwest winds. Just to remind you one more time, and I'm sorry to be bombarding you with info and I hope you don't mind, but we are heading to London and we're going to do a special radio show that I'd love you to listen to on Sunday. I love Highland at the weekend. And the figures actually show how popular it is. There's a great Sunday morning buzz and Saturday morning as well. And we're lucky to be tagging on to the coattails of that from 12 noon on Sunday. We're broadcasting live from a field, hopefully a dry field. It's looking dry at the moment. We're broadcasting live with loads of guests and fun and crack and what have you. You'll be able to listen to it, of course, here on Highland Radio, and hopefully we'll be able to stream it too on our socials. Susan, have a great time in Greenford, she says, and a beautiful place. I lived there many moons ago. Caroline, I'm going to play a song to end. Is that all right? No? Do I have to do an interview? Well, where is it? Where's the guest? I don't have it. I've got loads of stuff to do, but I don't have a guest here. Sitting on my keyboard. Maybe I've lost it. Caroline, sorry about this. Okay, bear with me. Just to remind you too that you can WhatsApp and text us on 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or call 074 91 25,000. Suzanne Griffin, chairperson of Donegal Go Games and all of the Go Games Fixtures Committee. How are you getting on, Suzanne?
Hello, thanks for finding me there. Thanks for putting me in.
If you've seen the pile that you're in, Suzanne, you wouldn't believe it. Right. Donegal LGFA are hosting their annual Under-12 All Donegal Blitz at the Convoy Centre of Excellence. It's tomorrow. It's a big event, isn't it? It's going to be a lovely one. Tell me more about it.
Oh, it is. We are so excited that we're going to have over 600 talented, skillful LGFA players arriving in Convoy. We've had so much interest this year that we've had to divide it into two. So we have a cohort starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. A big shout out to all those clubs that have to get up early in the morning and travel down to Convoy, because they're coming from all corners of Donegal to come in and represent their clubs. And then another cohort coming in then from 2 o'clock, another 20 teams turning up at 2 o'clock to perform as well. So LGFA, this has really exploded for us over the last 3 years, up over 300%, and the interest. But this is not new. We know I played in the 90s with Sean McCool's, myself, and the Donegal team, and there's always been such a huge interest. And we're really delighted to be able to provide these fixtures and this opportunity for the girls to turn up and represent their clubs.
Suzanne, what's driving it? Do you think the message is getting out that this is a brilliant event and you're getting the message out to more clubs, and that's driving sort of the massive increase in registration? Or do you think that we're riding a bit of a wave off the back of the trailblazing Donegal ladies team and the better exposure and record attendances we've seen at women's matches in recent years? Or is probably the answer, it's going to be a mixture of all of it, isn't it?
Do you know, Craic, it isn't. And you know, as a player, and every player that's listening on your programme now, we know the amount of players and skill. And what has happened is just Sport Ireland has got involved, LGFA got involved, Cope Park. We're actually just really getting facts and figures of how many women are involved in sport. The numbers have always been there, but we now have facts and figures. And then all the surgeon research and all the universities are getting behind all the research in performance and all the surge with rugby and our soccer teams as well. So it is a crest of a wave, but that wave has been coming for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, in the 90s when I played, I mean, myself and Aoife on the committee, our 12-year-old daughters are playing against each other tomorrow, and we're just so proud that we're able to play it on like that. And when you're reffing those games, Craig, you just would love to be 12 again and playing yourself.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? Well, that's a lovely thing to say, actually.
Really
Well, I know, yeah, it's lovely. Suzanne, listen, the best of luck. Can people go along and watch, or what way does that work? I love to speak to you to celebrate it's happening, but is there any sort of invites out there, or what's the story?
Do you know, we as you said, as we've said, there is such a surge in participation in this one. We and Convoy again, and a big call out, thank you to Convoy Centre of Excellence for hosting us, because as you know, with integration hasn't happened yet, so we're guests, but they always look after us. The car parking is limited. We are under pressure fitting all the teams and all the mummies and daddies and the grannies in and grandparents, and they're coming down to support because of indeed it's a family event and it's a family day out, and they love to come along.
And it's going to be packed with the 600 girls taking part and their support network as well. Listen, Suzanne, have a wonderful, wonderful day. As you say, you're in a brilliant facility, the Convoy Centre of Excellence, and I'm sure everyone's going to have a fantastic time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Craig.
Bye-bye. Take care, Suzanne. Right, we'll be back on the 9 till noon show Monday, 9 o'clock, but we'll be back on the air Sunday at 12. Please tune in and keep the phones busy with your requests and dedications.